Another second, and then we get started.
Oh, baby! Did you get jacked? Gina, I told you to have
So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from whatever part of the hemisphere you are watching me from. I am SalkisRe, and you are on a platform called the Ugly Girls Club. And our tagline is that we refuse to be defined by how we look. So, it's a coalition of women who have come together to divest from beauty, divest from all the headaches and the insecurities and the manipulation that takes place when we are forced to subscribe to a narrative that there are only certain types of women who are deserving of love, attention, romance, being cared for, being married to, you know, that sort of thing. We're divesting from all of that because it creates a hell for women who don't fit into the parameters of what a typically attractive woman is said to look like. And there is a standard. We understand that there's a standard. Nobody's trying to erase the standard. That is not the goal of this channel. We are saying we're bowing out from the race that we know we cannot win. We're just stepping aside and we're letting the sheep and the mules run the race. And we're deciding that we are going to call the shots for our lives, regardless of what anybody thinks of us as far as value, beauty, and worth, and all of that is concerned. And it's not to say that because we are deciding not to be in the race, that people aren't still going to judge us. It's not to say that people aren't still going to assume that we don't deserve anything. Those assumptions are always going to linger around, as they always have, because we all have biases. So we're just preparing for them. We're getting ahead of it. Is pretty much what we're doing. We're getting ahead of it. And it's necessary for us to get ahead of it because for a lot of us, our lives and livelihoods are at stake. Our health, mental, emotional, and physical health are really on the line here. Because I talk to you, and there's a lot of us women who are battling depression and even suicidal thoughts surrounding this thing called, being accepted by society. And I think it's a problem because the tactic for women against other women is to isolate. Women are not as physically abusive as men, but women abuse other women just as much as men do. And usually the tactic for women asserting harm is through isolating you, through putting you out to pasture, through saying that you're not a part of the team. You're on your own. That's usually how it's done. So she destroys your character, she destroys your relevance, she destroys your value by, shouting through a bullhorn that this girl over here is nothing. Don't talk to her, don't touch her, don't give her anything, don't support her, that sort of thing. And this is what a lot of women do. This is the tactic of a lot of women. So y'all got to be careful with this thing. And this is why we're saying, you know what? I understand there's rules and regulations to this thing, and my goal for my life is to be free and to live it how I want and on my terms. And I know I won't ever be able to do that if I subscribe to what you're saying, which is I don't fit in. I'm nothing. So we gotta do what we gotta do here. Goddess,
Hey, how are you?
I don't see your face. What happened?
Hold on one second. I have to do some technical difficulties or something with my webcam, but can you at least hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you though.
So I actually was, hold on a second. So I actually was just conferring with Body Culinary just now, and I saw the invite come through.
Okay.
So I was like, let me hop on this live real quick. Let me hop on.
So I wanted to do because I watched a video of a woman posing the question to sisters about why are we deserving of an exclusive relationship with a man when statistically, you know A lot of them are in prison, or maybe, and he was challenging our work pretty much, saying that are you woman enough? Are you qualified to have a man exclusively to yourself? Because there's more women than men, and most of us have to share. And basically, what are you bringing to the table for you to assume?
Oh, the proverbial question. What are we bringing to the table?
What are you bringing to the table? And I'm finding it like that's a trend now. A lot of women are telling black women that we are being unrealistic. We want too much as far as just having an exclusive relationship. I mean, what are your thoughts on this? What are your I think I know what your thoughts are, but
for those of you who can read my facial expressions, I'm sure you guys know what my thoughts on this are. So this is what kills me. I don't see why Hispanic, any other non-black woman preaching to their expect less, right? But here we are. Usually the women that are preaching this are single themselves, have no man around them, are doing what they are claiming for us to do, which is share. I don't see no commune or any compound or whatever. And if they do share, it's like some trap house somewhere. It's never anything that you want to be like, that's what kills me. That's what kills me. Or it's like what you said, they're bagging up herbs for some dusty dude that be preaching some, we won and all this other stuff. So my thing is, yes, there are things that prevent or may make an issue or a problem to find a quality match these days. However, with any number and statistic, and truth be told, I feel like people are just pulling numbers out of the sky because they never really refer what journal, what the source of these so-called statistics, where I can tell you which book to read to get the statistic. But anyway, I digress. My thing is, even with a statistic, and we all know people can lie about those too.
Yeah.
You have to decide for yourself which side of that statistic you want to fall on.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are some people who are in that number getting what they want, are on the right side of the statistic for them. So that in itself lets you know that there is choice.
Right.
That you can do things, and it's not just by happenstance. Most of I hate that his nickname is that, because I do like a kitten heel in my closet.
You like them praise and pumps?
No, ain't no praise and pumps. This is like
the church. Oh, there you go. She got the kitten heel. Out the kitten heel. Oh, there we go too. There we go too. I wish I could get shoes like that. My this.
I'm getting my nails and my feet done today, so I'm excited. But to the topic at hand.
Yes.
And I'm so glad, because Salkis, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get to the Goddess channel eventually. Yeah. But every time you drop something in the chat, I'm just like, Lord, do I have to come and preach the gospel to everybody?
You need to. You need evangelism out here, because they come in left and right. They're everywhere.
From everywhere, from the ratchets to the spiritual hoes to everywhere. Everyone's preaching the same thing.
We got spiritual hoes.
Yeah, I call them that. Listen, I'm drinking my moringa tea, and yes, in my bodycon dress, as I tell you to accept less. Listen, the only spirituality I subscribe to is the spirit of abundance. So you listen to anybody. All right. You listen to anybody that is telling you to take less. Turn your ears off.
Let me fall from the sky.
Listen, when I officially fall from the sky, So for those of you who don't know, I'm working. I'm gonna probably set it up this weekend because I was just like, there needs to be some help. I'm working on what will be my goddess channel. It will be on YouTube, but it's not set up yet. So my name on the screen, that's my IG handle for the goddess channel. So if you follow that handle, once the YouTube is up, I will have the link in the IG and you guys can subscribe to that. But that will be encompassing more what I would probably call the mental aspect of the level up. I mean, I'll throw some beauty in there because that's what I like, but mostly mental things and a little bit of beauty, but spiritual stuff, but taking the spiritual and making it practical. So we're not just going to talk about pie in the sky. How are we going to use that information to make stuff happen for you right here?
Mm-hmm.
Spiritual has made a bad turn thanks to YouTube. Spirituality has made a bad turn thanks to the people who don't know what they're talking about.
What's missing? What do you think is missing from the spiritual talk? What
I think the mistake that, first of all, spirituality encompasses everything.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, when I see they teach on these aspects, they're referring to XYZ book and all this other stuff, they make you view spirituality as a separate box or a separate aspect of your life, where spirituality encompasses everything. Everything fits into, if you have a little circle, there's everything, and around it is, and the circle is spirituality. So there's that. Also, there are some negative connotations or aspects where I feel like there's, like a pious poverty consciousness, accepting less, or because you're spiritual, you don't need these things, or because you're spiritual, you shouldn't do or be this thing. Spirituality just means being in tune with yourself. It has no face. A girl that looks like an IG model could be very spiritual.
Okay.
He doesn't have to wear a burlap sack and sip tea and cook up herbs every day, right? In fact, the most spiritual people I've met in my life don't look like Sadhguru with a head wrap turban walking barefoot.
This is true. This is true. You have some powerful people. I've met them in my life too that do not fit. We have this template of what a spiritual person is supposed to look like, talk like, act like, and that sort of thing, and they totally smash the presuppositions that we all have about who can state that they're spiritually inclined, who's spiritually powerful. So I've seen my own biases debunked over and over and over again by people who are mental giants, literally spiritual giants, like literally spiritual giants. But for me, I think I'm disturbed by how so many women are telling other women that even wanting the basics is just too much. Like wanting a committed relationship is something now that a lot of sisters are saying that is totally outside of our reach, that we should not even be focusing on that because we bring absolutely no value equivalent to what it is that we're asking for. And so many of them are like, they're so proud to put women down. They're proud of it. They're proud of the message to tell women that they don't have a chance in hell. And I'm just not understanding why that's trending now at all. Not understanding. Let's see here. Mr. Logic, mine, I love it. Who?
Look a few comments above that.
Oh, really? We got admins in here?
You know what? I think you should make me an admin at this point so I can just regulate when I'm on here.
Can I do that now?
Sure. But let's address that.
Okay.
So let's address that. Leave the comment up before you exit him. Leave the comment up so I can address this.
Okay.
So back to talking about spirituality.
Yeah.
The most spiritual people I've met don't look like what is being pushed as a poster child for spirituality.
Yeah.
And actually, some of the most powerful healers I've ever met in my life look like housewives and soccer moms. Like, you would have no clue that they do any of that. Spirituality really is just acceptance of yourself, being in tune with what you and your higher self wants, and being self-identified. So as you navigate this reality, you navigate with a sense of purpose and a sense of surety, and to be confident in that. Now, if I was a weak spiritually minded person, like Mr. Logical Mind, who might be, because he came and show his face on an avatar, right? I could crawl into a hole and cry because, all these insulting comments that I don't even identify with. But I'm not, because I know, being self-identified, being in my spiritual self, and knowing who I am, I deal with things on a day-to-day basis that would make Mr. Logical crap his pants and cry. So, with that being said, and this is why we're also in the Ugly Girls Club channel, he was basically calling me ugly with those comments, which means absolutely nothing, because as the manifesto is, we are beauties of virtue and not beauty is not a virtue. It's a tool.
Yeah.
And divesting from beauty means that I could care less about what someone has to say about my looks.
Yeah.
Now, he has an opinion on it, which everyone is free to have. And everyone certainly have. Now, my results say otherwise, as I use my beauty as a tool. But beauty is what you did the last video. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not chasing beauty, because that means I'm giving him and other people power to behold and quantify and value me, correct?
Yes.
So I'm just doing this as an example for you ladies to actually implement Salkis's teachings. She's not just saying things. Like, when you face situations in the real world, like I just did, you need to stand on those. You need to let those principles marinate in your spirit, so you're not moved one bit.
Yeah. Because people are everywhere offering you low self-worth. They're offering you their perspective to diminish you. And that's around the corner, around the bend. And it really doesn't matter. It follows us no matter what economic bracket you're in, really no matter how attractive you are. Because I know women who are like drop dead model gorgeous, who have been beat down emotionally because these men play tricks, these mental head games with them, where their job, they feel like their role, a part of being with this woman, is to chop her down to size, get her grounded because she's too high up there.
Men do generally feel like that, because I know some men in my life have made comments about women in general. They feel like social media has made it so that because guys can easily slide in your DM, or social media has made it so they think that women have an inflated sense of self-worth, which is not true, because you can get more guys. So the goal is to not compliment you or to not do certain things to bring you back down to size.
So the men in your life, these are relatives of yours,
relatives
that you witness putting this into practice.
Verbatim say this to me.
Oh,
That's
really?
That's their opinion of it.
Wow.
And I was like, that is so not true. I don't know which man, because I'm sure a man told them that.
Yeah.
I don't know which man tells you that, but usually social media is stressful for women. Yeah. I have to take the perfect photo. I have to put 10 filters on it. I have to, if I don't get enough likes, my self-esteem is in the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're one away, or one post away from, getting depressed, going into a slump, and that sort of thing. Because we're constantly looking for that shot of approval, which is what social media has done. It's made a lot of women feel really doubtful of life in general. of everything that they want. It's like everything that you want, somebody's turning around and telling you, uh, you're unreasonable for wanting this. And I'm like, where's this conflict coming from? How is this other woman, which is like you said, probably single, probably showing somebody, telling you what you can't have? And they out here, every
In
time
groves.
they popping up more and more and more and more and more. So it's crazy the climate that we are in now. Let me see here. What's Uncle saying? Let's all be celibate. Maybe that's the answer. Celibacy is the answer. We think about that. Is celibacy the answer to all of this? Is it that we're having too much sex? Is that why everyone's crazy? Maybe something.
I think that everyone is going crazy because we're trying to piece together the puzzle. We're all trying to find answers to what seems like these challenges into what's going to make us happy.
Right.
And especially when it comes to dating and relationships and stuff like that. If it was just you, it wouldn't be a problem. But in order to have a relationship, it's another person. So now you have to reconcile, the two. And that's where the issues are coming, because men are upset with their reasons and women are upset with our reasons. And there is this reconciliation that needs to happen. But it just seems like,
do you think it will? Do you think it will happen?
in mass, no. For me, it will. I can't speak for it will. But in mass, no, because and what I've seen, or what we're seeing playing out now, is, especially from the male perspective, is most of that reconciliation needs to be on our side. It's like the reconciliation, they want us to figure it out, but this is what it need to be, versus maybe them focusing on some self-improvement, focusing on certain things to rise up. It's the message is always, women take less, you're worthless, your hair weave, your nappy, you're too black, whatever it is, versus them actually stop posting crap on the internet like Mr. Logical and get a second job and make more money to afford the woman that he actually wants, or focus, even if you can't, focus on the woman that you want. If I'm so, ugly and, wear too much makeup and I got horse hair, is you're focusing on what you don't want. So you're going to attract more of what you don't want. That's spirituality 101. That's basic level, basic. But, I guess you're not basic enough to even understand that. So I guess that's where we are with things.
Maria asks, why is hair such a big subject? Why do you think that is? Why do you think hair is such a big subject?
I think that hair is such a big subject because I think that, this is my opinion, so let me preface it by saying that. I think that if you are trying to convince people of running through hoops to prove yourself worthy, you're going to pick on things that they are sensitive to, bring about an emotion and a reaction to get them to change.
Oh.
Because if you look at the history, let's talk about hair weaves. And like I said, I'm gonna go into some of this stuff and more on my Goddess channel, so follow that IG handle on the screen. Especially with a lot of these spiritual brothers and stuff talking about weaves and stuff like that. There are ancient Egyptian queens, pharaohs, and all of that pictured wearing hair weave.
Yeah.
They have dug mummies up, thousands of years old, with hair added onto their hair.
Yes.
Those societies did not fall because their woman was wearing hair. And in fact, if we go back to even recent history, in European culture, what were the judges and magistrates wearing? That little white curly wig. So what is the problem? It's a problem because they want to use it against you. All of a sudden, it's a problem now to make you feel a way or be insensitive. But if they didn't care, it wouldn't be an issue. And in fact, they're upset by it because they know that's what they respond to.
Okay.
Because they will sit here and tell you, oh, sister queen, you're so natural, you're so beautiful, whatever, and then want to have sex with a girl at the club with a 24-inch yaki.
Not the yaki. Not the
Yaki won't be.
What happened to the Brazilian soft wave? They want the yak? No.
Okay.
They want to go straight to it.
Yeah. Okay. So listen, and that is why it's important to back to spirituality, back to understanding, knowing what yourself, right? That is why it's important to know and understand yourself, know and understand the history of your people, know and understand history in general. So when idiots who are claiming to have more intelligence than you try to project their BS on you, you can have that ricochet off like Teflon back to them, and you can correct them and keep things pushing. And that's why you have to really take the time to really understand yourself, and that's going to be self introspection, but also that's going to be knowing and understanding your culture and your people and history. Because people will literally come up with a BS stat, which I'm sure in that video you're saying, I'm like, where is these statistics coming from? But sound really convicted about it.
Put a stat in your argument, it sounds official. It sounds like it's not. What do they call it? There's a term these guys call when you're stating an opinion and trying to present it as a fact. I forgot what it is right now, but it always sounds official when they throw a few numbers in there. You know, that's marketing. That's marketing 101. I study marketing, so I know the language, and you know, you automatically go, well, all right, there's a number in there, so what she's saying is not her opinion. Now it's a fact because the numbers don't lie. Numbers lie too.
Depending on numbers can be presented in a way to paint whatever picture you wanted to paint. Actually,
hell yeah. There's doctrine to support anything. Like I've always said on this channel, there's people who have studies that drinking urine is beneficial, which is something I've actually done, by the way. I've done some wild shit. So, it's anything you want to believe in. Anything you want to believe in. There's somebody that has studied things and can tell you, like, back in the days, back in this BC time, they were doing X, Y, Z and all of that. Listen, but belief or truth, as I said, it's a transient kind of thing. It really depends on the time and how many people believe it, and all of that. It's not absolute. It's not absolute. 100 years from now, they're gonna be talking about us like, hey, these people were Looney Tunes, So there's
we're Looney Tunes right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, the Earth is ghetto. Okay, I'm waiting for the aliens to just roll the spaceship on by and be like, ready? We ready to collect y'all?
Yeah. Beat me up, ET.
Independence Day. What, Thanos?
Yes. Thanos, come knock this out. Roll up with a planet in your hand, Thanos. Come on now.
Black.
It's time to go. Yes, everything is transient. Nothing is absolute. Not even status. Status is a moment to moment thing too. And this is why we really can't be intimidated by anybody who appears to have anything, because you can overthrow people mentally. You may not have as much money as they do, but the mental game, as long as you get that thing strong and solid and concrete, you can hold your own in any environment amongst any group. But for a lot of us, especially with unattractive women, we live very dull, very unexpressive lives. A lot of us do not show people our level of intelligence. We want to get along with everybody, so we're quiet. We cower down. We go in a corner, and it's always an agreement, even though you know something is going to hurt you. You're agreeing with it because you're so afraid of rejection. So I think a lot of what we're going through as women, a lot of reasons why we get the results that we get is because we are suppressing ourselves. That's really just the bottom line with it. So, we're talking about spirituality here. Spirituality is really taking care of yourself. It's really honoring the things that you want and need for your mind, your body, and your soul. How can you claim to be spiritual and you're neglecting the things that you want and need? One has to go with the other. How is spirituality manifest without the physical body? The spirit don't mean nothing unless the physical body is the vehicle by which you actualize and do an act of something spiritual. You need your physical body to represent what you're thinking spiritually and what you're feeling spiritually anyway. So that's the road we're all going on. As I said before, the soul grows with your experiences. Your soul develops through the actual physical experiences you have in this life. So you can lose your soul, as they say. A trauma event can make you really lose your soul, but you can gain it back. You can gain it back too. And we have to understand how powerful that we actually are. But we're living real dull lives because we don't want to take a chance. We don't want to take a shot. We're letting everyone else's dreams come true except for our own. We cheer everybody else on. We give everybody else, our emotional and physical and sometimes financial contributions, and we let our own dreams and our own aspirations just go to the wayside because it's like, well, somebody else is doing it better than me. Everybody else is doing it better than you. The goal should never be to be better than everybody else because that is an unattainable goal. The only thing you can be is you. The only thing you can be the best at is being you. And that's the whole goal right there. But we stop things and we don't start things because this one is already done. Or that one got I don't know, whatever subscribers, or this one is popular and all that. And you feel you don't have a voice. We all have a voice. We all have a voice. When I was talking to you about starting your channel and you was like up in the air about it, I said, listen, your voice, people need what you represent. Everybody's not going to gravitate towards what I do. I have a voice, and there's certain people that get it and certain people won't. There's room for all of us. And your presentation, your intelligence, and your beauty, and everything else that goes along with you is what people will resonate with. We're not in competition with each other. I'm not competing with nobody. Like,
even though other people are thinking you're competing with them.
Yeah, yes, they really about that in the catacombs too. There's a lot of people thinking somebody over here biting their style and all that. Where? I am exclusive. Hello? Exclusive. That's what it is. You can't name one thing that I've quoted that came out of your mouth. Not one. So who am I biting? Who? But they'll come out and this is what women do. They try to discredit you instead of teaming up, which is what we can all do. Team up and let's make a strong coalition. It's always I'm better than you think. I'm better than you think. Instead of what is the goal? Helping people. My goal is to help women, not to compete with nobody. It's to help women. Period. So anybody who can add on to that, you're welcome. You're welcome. Because I'm not.
Our person works together. Like I said, coming on this chat, I was working conferring with Body Culinary. We came up with an arrangement that was beneficial for both of us.
Yeah.
For both of our goals and stuff. And I'm sure when I get the Goddess channel up and running, if I have some health videos and some stuff I want to do, I already have a reservoir of people I can have come on. I can have her come on and talk about health related things and get her expertise on that. But it also goes back to what we were talking about spiritually. You have that poverty consciousness. There's not enough for and that's going back to sharing your man too. You're going with this poverty consciousness, this mindset that there's not enough for everybody. There won't be enough for me. So let me, concede. And if that's what you choose to do in your personal life, great. But don't condemn women for wanting a traditional relationship and arrangement because of quote unquote, there aren't enough men. Listen, you decide what it is you want and tune out everything else.
Yeah.
To survive in this reality, the way things going now, you got to tune everybody else out and you just make up your mind on what it is that you want personally.
You really do. And I, as I talk to you ladies on this platform and I talk about how you don't have any friends, and I really need for y'all to understand that you don't.
Oh, I learned the hard way. I mean, you've been saying that for a while, and the lesson surely came.
Yeah, you had to get smacked around.
I got dragged. Remember the movie Troy?
Yes.
And Brad Pitt character tied Hector to the chariot and just dragged him throughout the desert.
Yeah, yes.
That's what happened to me.
That part. You had to be dragged. You had to be dragged along. Some of us had to be dragged one more time to get it and understand that really this is your walk. You are alone. You are alone in this thing. And once you really understand that the validation that you're trying to wait for from people, you'll stop waiting around for it, because you realize that what they're giving you is conditional anyway. What they're giving you is pretentious. What they're giving you is based on what they feel they'll get from you by doing it and all of that stuff. This is all it is. This is all it is. So that need to have that, that shot of, okay, I'm something because this person is endorsing me. That'll slowly go away. It'll go away. And then you'll be able to live in your truth and prosper and do whatever it is you want to do. And it doesn't matter who is in your environment. It doesn't matter who is in your presence. I was talking to somebody today, somebody I care about a lot, about this thing called friendship and support, and letting her know. And I had to show her an example of how pretentious people are. These so-called friends won't support you, especially if they think you're beneath them or they want you to fail. Sometimes it's a little bit of both. They really think you are not on their level, or they are anticipating or wanting you to fail, so they don't throw all of their support in like they can. They'll hold back on that just to watch you fail, because that is essentially what they want to do. And then eventually, when you do get the support, when you reached up here, they want to be in your shadow. So then they'll name drop. Oh, me and her been friends for 20 years. You need to go to her. She'll hook you up and all that kind of stuff. They'll associate themselves with you after you reach a certain point. Then you'll get the endorsement. And you don't need the shit either way. Friends be bullshitting people out here. Bullshitting.
Listen.
Thank you, UG. Leaving offerings and sitting.
Yay. Thank you, UG Rose. Listen, I forgot which video it was, because I went back in the catacombs to see all the friendship related videos after the experience.
Yeah.
Yes, UGC.
Yeah.
What I went and looked at all the friendship related videos, and when you said friendship is a debt relationship, I was like, okay, so it made me, even though I'd already reconciled that experience, it made me really come to terms with, okay, I'm not losing on anything, because now I don't owe nobody nothing and nobody owes me anything. Therefore, I can conserve all my energy and take that same energy that was being expended and just put it more back into myself and into what I want to do.
Right. And that's it. What's the body? You in the house? What do you have to say? So, we're talking about how women are pretty much lowballing each other and advising other women to not ask for much, because we don't have much coming to the table and all of that. And
particularly sharing your man, that we should share men.
We really should share, because we're not all that, pretty much. So
hold on, you want my honest nickel?
Yeah.
Let me take a chug of mug.
You drinking water too? Listen.
I'm drinking me water in a wine glass.
I need to put mine in a wine glass so I can feel fancy like
you. Listen, you want to know?
No, water in a wine glass? You so bougie.
Hey, yeah.
Where the bougie resides?
Bougie.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I ain't mad at you.
So, we're projecting, many of us, where we're at, in ignorance and in hateration. In ignorance.
Hateration.
And in hateration. We are in constant state of triggeration and hateration. And I think, we're moving with a lot of groupthink, still with with women, men too, but as a woman trying to fit in, and it's trending right now. It's not new.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. It was a time I thought about it. It was, yes, child. People looking at me, Miss Goody Two Shoes. Miss Goody Two Shoes would think about that one time, you know. And if I look back, if I reflect back, I think it was what I was surrounded with. I was just weighing my options. And sometimes you can't see yourself, you know, even some of the most intelligent people, just the lack. There was a lot of conversation of lack around me, a lot of statistics being thrown, and I'm much more cognizant and aware of how much fear is used to manipulate mass populations, and in particular to subjugate Afro women in particular, not limited to us, but definitely. Like if you're going around, no offense, you know, I love my culture, got locks, but those conversations are a plenty in the church community, and definitely in the so-called cultural community. As much as I love cultural expression, I can make a lot of distinctions now that I would tell my nieces and other young ladies. Like, for example, I can distinguish between affection, and I have feelings of affection and history, and that's so-called love is affection and your behavior, whether that's family members, lovers, child's father. I can distinguish between the two. I didn't have a language for that really in my 20s. I couldn't make those very clear distinctions. And so now my eyes are continually being refined, and I don't have to be heated about it. I can distinguish someone that wants to sleep with you, or get off, you know, or have arm candy, from someone that really loves you, and that now equates to sacrifice, investment. I have another eye for the amount of really wifey treatment that I gave very loosely to people that hadn't earned it. My comprehension was just not peeled. I didn't have that on my radar. I did not comprehend my value. And it was so many narratives. It's like, your brain is bombarded as an Afro woman. Oh, you can't escape this religion, that religion, the government. It's like you're running around like you're crazy. Yes. Crazy. Before social media, I could tell you, I'm somebody way before social media, there were different circles, because I started to consider this, and it seemed you can rationalize anything. You can, but I didn't question. See, the distinction now that I can make, I would tell my nieces and community nieces, I didn't examine or vet who the narrative was coming from. And I wouldn't even question what they had to gain. Like, oh, this is an elder. Oh, this is another Black person. Oh, this person seems righteous. Oh, this person's a clergy. Of course they would have my best interest, but the results.
Let me ask you this. So who's doorbell ringing?
Oh, mine. Oh. I checked on my app. That's the delivery man. Okay.
So you considered it because the source that was telling you that was a viable option was credible to you, or you considered it because
I thought it appeared to be credible. Right? Because these are assumptions you make: elder, age, outfit. It seems the appearance that they have, this or that. So I was very gullible and very trusting. But just like, when I look back at the results of my mother's generation, generations before, I'm crystal clear the results have not panned out. It has not panned out in terms of intentional parenting. It hasn't panned out in terms of women being secured into our older years, menopausal years, after the relationship is over. We don't have nothing to show for it. So unfortunately, I say a lot, we don't figure these things out until after we have put ourselves in harm's way, and we have depleted our creative resources, our financial resources, our reproductive organs, which are a resource, a very viable resource. We're so focused on the prison industrial complex. We're not focused on our internal, what's happening right in our immediate community and family. So we're making very uninformed, gullible choices and being very braggadocious about being ignorant. Like, we're doing something new.
You know what I wanted you to mention also, when what we had talked about before, about your findings of men actually, the characteristics of them hitting the wall, like what they go through.
Oh yeah,
because you said at age 35 they go through something as well, right?
It's not just age 35. Actually, I did a video on it. Men experience. I did it on prostate cancer, right? So I've been aware. I'm a health nut. Love studying for like going on like 3 decades. My my sister, she's actually studying right now to be a cancer specialist. So she keeps constantly running over and saying, "Oh my God, did you know this?" I'm like, "I've been telling you this for like 30 years." So now she's going even deeper into the distinctions and the different types of cancer. So she's actually alarmed now. I was looking for videos and stuff like that on cancer to work with clients for years, but she's like, "They're gutting you out. You got to walk around a colostomy bag. They're cutting this out." And she's going through the throat cancer, the prostate cancer, lymphatic cancer. So when she got on the prostate cancer, so I was familiar, but she's gone even deeper into the procedures of the cutting and the exercises you can and can't do. So check this out. I didn't know men experience symptoms that are pretty equivalent, if not even a little bit more extreme than menopause. They get hot flashes. The majority of their different procedures they have, some more aggressive, some a little less aggressive.
Okay.
Majority, was it 80-90% that go to the more invasive form of cancer, depending on how aggressive it is. 90% will experience incontinence, urinating on themselves, incontinence, and also erectile dysfunction.
You said how much now? 90%?
85-90%. Go back. I don't have about 85-90%. Look at the video. There's a whole video.
And what age does that start? You know, everything.
Well, the age of, let me say this. What I can say, I have all the numbers in front of me. It's almost makes me want to run and go get the book, child. But the numbers, I've always known that the numbers for men of color, men in general, and definitely men of color, in the upper 80-85% will experience prostate cancer. So me, as a health, I'm always like, well, what's the source? I always want to get to the source and preventative. And so there are different videos as I was doing research that are connected to the overuse of their organs. And meanwhile,
did you say overuse?
Overuse. Well, it's no secret that all the current popular culture, you get a little small population that's exploring no fap, right? And whatever, but constantly jack, off. Every piece of music is encouraging men to constantly get off. And what I've known for years, right, from a holistic perspective, women, we lose a lot of our nutrients during our menstrual cycle, right? So that's when we want to have more iron and more nutrition. Men lose a lot of their nutrition when they reach their climax. So they're losing humongous amounts of zinc. I've been saying this for a long time, and folks love laughing at me, honey. Continue to crack up because you're losing all your nutrition. Why do you think they pop to sleep all the time? They just fall asleep. They're not even looking at their nutrition. They're not even looking at their nutrition. You're losing a lot of nutrition. So you're also losing your vitality. So we're being encouraged to almost exay ourselves off the planet.
So what you're saying is, hold on. So what you're saying is, when these men be choking their chicken until the chicken neck broke, basically they are killing themselves through masturbation. They basically hurrying up death.
It's not just. There's so much connected. It's not just the act of the so-and-so-bation. It's also their nutrition, their vitality. Also, our reproductive organs are intrinsically connected to our vitality, your juiciness, your skin. So it's what causes us to be here. It's a reason why it's sacred. There's a reason why it's sacred. So we're not vetting who we're taking our instructions from, right? Which winds up being very, very profitable, right? There's young guys right now going into the bodega for pills to work with, at a younger age, experiencing erectile dysfunction in their 20s.
Hair, libido.
I've seen young men starting to lose their hair, and usually you don't see it with men of color, but now you're starting to see. So just common sense, even if you didn't have a PhD, the common sense is somehow it's not clicking. It's It's not functioning. Maybe our brain
No,
is
because
harboring too
in
much.
order for that, they would have to make adjustments, and they don't want to make adjustments. Like I said, they want us to reconcile everything.
Well, check this out.
Hashtag men hit the wall too.
Man, they have a lot more physiological. Like if you look at that video, they have a lot more physiological. Oh, they're more likely to get a stroke. They're more likely to get a stroke, right? And so we already know that men are more predisposed to strokes with stress. So it's a form of stress. They're depleting. They're just being very indiscriminate with that very sacred act, not realizing they're losing a lot of nutrition. I'm sure the deeper you'll dig, you'll find connections also to mental function. And in addition, this was the other thing.
What we mean by mental function? Like
we say mental function. Let's say, for example, the function of the brain, right? A lot of men now, and maybe perhaps men, but definitely men, are becoming unable to be erect, right, without looking at Ornpay, without looking at somebody, right? So it's literal.
So their brains are broken. Their brains are broken.
It's like
so that's why they're acting crazy.
The hardware, this is literally a computer, right? This is the hardware, and the software is the programming from the music. This is basic. Companies know this. So all that you're taking in the instructions. So now you've taken in so much instructions, you're rewiring your brain. When you rewire your brain, it affects your gut. It affects everything. So everything, nothing that we do is insignificant. So you're no longer able to function and get emotional or get aroused without these narratives that have been written for you. So you are offing yourself off the planet and taking instructions from men who more than likely are on fast tracking with their dietary and their reproductive habits to cancer. Different types, not just prostate cancer, but again, if you 85% and up of men are going to get cancer. Most men don't even know where their reproductive organs are. And who more than likely is going to do the research to make sure that their men are maintained?
Oh, okay.
That would be the medicine women. That would be those women that are into the herbs and the healing. And I would say it's somebody that gave wifey treatment and ignorance.
Yes, because you were out here giving these dudes free colonics. You were healing folks. But thank yous out here. So we had to step.
What incentive now do I have to make you a cup of sarsaparilla or licorice or herb? Do you even know what herbs to pick? And also the cost of the medication. Some of these medications are going to start to go into the thousands. This medication. So it's a setup. So who's healing you? You really want to do all of that work? So you're going to labor and all this. You really want to do all the work of the woman in terms of the herbal and making the teas and the poultices, because it's kind of late. I've been telling men folk in my family about raw pumpkin seeds for years, and they were ha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, do you know what greens and what to eat? And are you prepared to prepare it in a way that's beautiful and appealing so that you love your food? Because that's one of the reasons why I've seen people with cancer don't change their food, because they don't enjoy the food. Who's going to make that food lovely and enjoyable for you? That's a full job, you know.
Yeah.
One of the job descriptions.
Tell them what your channel is. Let's do the commercial on that for your channel.
It's body culinary. And so something I'm passionate about, and folks will tell it, I talk about reactivating the ways of the mothers and the grandmothers. That crone wisdom, all that stuff. People are laughing and running away from being a crone, honey. You might be wanting to get you some bouquet of flowers and be dropping some gifts at the crone's feet, because you're going to be in trouble. They can't pee, this painful urination. And then, check this out. They remove the seminal vessels. You know what is seminal? Not seminary. Seminal vessels. Yes.
They're removing
the seminal vessels, as well as other parts of the structure.
Okay.
So we might want to start to get the just more, not religion, not cult, get the morals in order. Get the morals in order to maintain vitality. Because are we going to be looking all dolled up and pushing folks around on a cruise ship in a wheelchair?
Oh yeah, that right there.
That's not a good look for vacation. That's not a good look for vacation. And
I need a hover around your goddamn.
let me get a sip. Last thing I'm gonna say is this.
That ain't a good look. Being on a hover
I'm just
around.
gonna say this. Now, I don't know anything. I do recommend folks. I tell folks, don't follow me, honey. Do your research. Do your research. But being that everyone wants to, and it's enough to go on from everybody. Being that folks want to invest in the feminine presence that has not been fully developed yet, in order to, usurp and to, siphon off her vitality. She hasn't been schooled yet in the ways of herbs and preparation. She's just got a new vagina. So who's going to care for you as you're suffering, as you're seminal? Because you really do need the assistance of someone to help, to help you recuperate and, get back up and running if you want any vitality. Oh, most of the men will have to wear diapers. They will have to wear diapers because of the incontinence and the removal of the feminine vessels. And we haven't even talked about colon cancer, cancer of the lymph nodes, which are, underneath your arms, at your inguinal crease. All these, no respect for the body temple. Who has an incentive? Who has an incentive to pass this wisdom down and to do the doctoring and the herbal?
Tell us, body, who really is incentivized to do all this? What type of woman will be incentivized?
Oh, I have a question. Now, just something in just my little random garden thoughts. When you're out in the garden, a lot of things come to your mind. Yeah. But sometimes I'm just thinking, like, the Viagra is quite expensive. Who has an incentive to study with herbs and stuff? Who has the time? Who has the time to do that? So you can have this nice suit on, but Pampers with those tight pants and the suit might leave a little imprint, and it's usually women that are very, humble.
For all you know,
with the skinny jeans. And see, folks are not going to talk about this because it's embarrassing. Who wants to talk about? Well, most women are not going to shame you. We're very benevolent. We don't shame nobody. We've been taking care of everybody. Oh, and just because you can put a dress on, no offense, because I love everybody, child. I love you. Show me respect. I should, whatever your identification, I could give 2 peach pits. But folks seem to think it's just about putting on a dress or a push-up bra, that's what it is to be a woman.
Talk about it.
Hold on. Could we raise the glass to the crone?
Yeah.
Raise the glass to the crone.
Take a sip on that and pour a little out.
Pour some on the plant. Interesting. The goddess Ishel, we've mentioned it in UGC. The goddess Ishel, right here. You see the pictures of the goddess all the time, of the Mayan goddess. She usually has a serpent on her head. So she's represented in the maiden, the mother, and then the old crone. So the young one, maiden, has a serpent, and the crone has a serpent. But the mother doesn't have a serpent. Now, I wonder why she doesn't have the serpent. Now, again, to all of those folks that want to, what do they say? We hit a wall.
Yeah.
Check this out. As a medicine woman told me here, the woman doesn't get a serpent because she's too busy with the children. So there's certain wisdom that she's not even privy to because she's too much in work mode. She's too much in work mode. So she doesn't even hit a certain cycle of wisdom. Yeah, she doesn't get the representation. You see it all over here. The Mayans have the goddess Ishel, who they give offerings to, the veneration and the honor to the crone. Everybody's so scared to get old.
Yeah.
So scared to get old. That has never been in our culture. Yeah. To be fearful of getting old. You see women in Africa, they got some shea butter. They don't have no band de soleil and all this other stuff on. They got some shea butter. They're out in the fields.
They ain't gay, honey.
Okay.
Listen, I'm gonna start. Hello Queen was like, we need to start investing in these cancer companies. I'm gonna start investing into these old people companies.
Listen.
Yeah, there's big money in that. Long-term care.
Listen, folks might want to get these to some elders with some wisdom. That's why they talk less, because sometimes you can't say anything to folks that are are younger or ignorant. And so hopefully folks, even men folks, would everybody would want to benefit from getting a vetting process. And what is who's giving you your information, and what's their angle, and what do they hope to gain by giving you this information? Are you just increasing their coffers and their pockets, Because just like we're so focused on so-and-so supremacy, we make the error in judgment that folks that look just like you are not trying to exploit you in your ignorance.
Oh, okay, let the church say amen on that.
But you know,
okay.
But what do I know?
I know. You just plant fruits and heal people. What do you know?
What do I know out here with these garden manicures?
Yeah, you just got dirt under your nails. You're not polished enough, you know.
Right.
Because I don't have a contour. Because I'm not contoured. Well, who's gonna be checking for you when you have those? I mean, you know, I will say this though. There are vouchers that are being given to seniors, right? So they get their toothpaste and you know, you can even get Dr. Bronner's and other stuff, but you can also get your diapers now with vouchers with seniors. So there's more benefits. You know, there's plenty of vouchers that are being given out. So
no, I wouldn't even be surprised off of
they're giving out vouchers now. You know, so you can
vouchers for Pampers for adults.
They're giving vouchers. They've been giving so well. They give vouchers, you know, to seniors so they can get their different products. So I'm also giving vouchers after you've had these surgeries and stuff. Maybe it's in your medical coverage, you know, so you can get, you know, Pampers.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry, maybe that's not the name. What do they call them now? The term. What's the term they're using? Not pull-up.
Adult diapers. What is it?
Adult.
But there's a nice this adult. Not Depends. That's a brand. But basically, you pull-ups for adults.
I wouldn't be surprised some of these men on these male.
Not to worry.
Be in their full-fledged suit with a diaper on.
Not to worry.
Yo. Okay.
Not to worry. They have them in styles that work for men and females, so you can get your cut that works more appropriately for your, you know, for your body type.
Yeah, for your front and back holes. For the front, they got some for your front hole, whatever come out the front hole and what come out the back hole. You know, customize.
So all that to say, we both do hit a wall, and I think that this is good. I love education, comprehensive, simple education, because it can help us get a focus.
Yes,
it helps us pull in and get a focus instead of attacking each other, kind of in the same boat. You know, in terms of needing each other, because you know who's going to be caring for you. Usually, it is the women and the aunties, even when they're older, that'll bring you that plate of food. Are you all right, baby? Last time I checked, you know, everybody else who's out at the club, those are not the folks that are going to be checking for you when you're convalescing, as you're in recovery mode. You might want a nurturing energy. I would want a nurturing energy to help me out, you know, when I'm convalescing, you know. And again, the percentile, look it up. I've been telling, usually for male clients, in terms of the corporate clients and personal training, I've had big 6-foot-something corporate men and doctors and work for Google. And usually the only way to get their attention is when you speak to their reproductive organs. Otherwise, they feel invincible. It's not until it's like, okay, you're really constipated. You know, if you're constipated and clogged up, you know, most likely your arteries are clogged up. And if blood flow is not coming, that's going to affect your ability to become erect.
Right.
You know, so usually that's the only thing. Consequences are usually the only thing that get people's attention. And so somebody said diaper gate.
Lord, not I invite the diaper.
You to cross-reference and do your own research.
Not also the diaper.
Somebody
also
said
for the sugar babies. For the sugar babies. For the sugar babies out there, as we were their universities, online universities and coaching courses and how to sugar baby, this might be something that they might not be aware of. As you know,
I don't know if that's even sugar baby.
Is that in the manual? The sugar daddy manual?
That's more like a glucose daddy. Glucose.
Is that the sugar baby manual? I don't know. They might have left that out of the sugar baby manual of some things that you can expect. To see, there's a reason why if many of our cohorts have been avoiding responsibility and accountability, and all of a sudden they've reached a certain age where they're willing to pay for company, there's a reason why. So I always recommend people read the ingredients. Read the ingredients and implement a vetting process. You know, think ahead, but usually when you're younger, it's just not on your radar. It's just not on your radar. And these are things that people are not going to, you know, talk about. Laughing and leaking.
I have a question.
Laughing and leaking. You know, some women know Kegels, and you have babies, you can laugh and leak.
Yeah,
so it does affect. It's a condition that affects men and women.
Real good with that one, or else you're gonna be.
It's not just women. I think hopefully this can be very helpful to the men folk, because we want the best for them. As women, we do want the best for our men folk. That's just in our nature.
So body culinary and Salkis, would you guys date older men? Would you get a glucose daddy?
You call him a glucose daddy?
A glucose daddy?
If he that old that he need diapers and that's past sugar.
Oh my God! Well, how old are you talking about? Like 70?
Like what's your increase? What's your cap of older than you can go? What's your cap?
I'll be honest with you. I prefer someone that's like, maybe 5, 10, 15, provided they're well preserved and fitness. That's a
based off of the stats you just gave, most of them are well preserved.
Based off of your stats, they dying. So
well, there would have to be some stipulations in place, because everybody has their rules, right? They have their rules. So I would say no touching. I'm not.
Wait, no.
Okay. I don't know. I would say like this. Perhaps, and these are some things I've only recently considered, because I'm still coming of age. I'm still a young woman. So as I'm considering these things, I consider, well, in terms of spending time, what will we be doing together? Now, I like to learn. Maybe to have like a meal and to discuss some things. Maybe that kind of time. Intimate. It doesn't appeal to me.
You might find a nice old man who can't get it up no more and don't care and would just love the company.
Maybe perhaps for a date, provided I'm also getting something, because the currency of my attention and time is very valuable. So maybe perhaps just for dining out, or something like that, they could warrant my attention, a nice conversation. That's about it. So I'm so grateful for education.
You would not marry a man like that, is what you're saying. He would just be for like
let me see. I don't know. I'm thinking
he would be like a placeholder boyfriend for you.
I can't. I mean, initially, to be quite honest, I'll be grossed out. But now with continuing education and my UGC laser lenses, I guess it would depend on like a prenup and life expectancy. And if there's a short life expectancy, I don't know. Wait,
why are you?
Everything is not for social media. Everything is not for social media.
Wait. Why are you whispering?
Everything is not for social media. I can't be giving out all the tea. See, you don't taught me well. I can't be giving everything out. I can't be giving out all that info. I can't be giving out all that info.
So it depends on how long he's projected to live.
I don't want to go on record as saying that. I plead the fifth.
How could you still didn't answer the question now?
Well, that's for the catacombs. That's for the catacombs. But in general, no, I would like somebody, that's within 10, 15 years, very, 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 very healthy and mobile, because I like to have fun. I want to be mobile. I'm not interested in pushing somebody around on a cruise ship in a wheelchair. You know what I'm saying? I'm not interested in doing that. So health is a value.
But Body, that's unconditional love. What's wrong with you?
No, error. No. Hold on. Let me get some solar lights over here. Let me get my UGC glasses on. Error.
So Salkis, what you doing? You're doing 5 years?
My eyes have been changed. My eyes. Hold on, put my UGC goggles on. Hold on.
Real unconditional.
No. Hold on. Internet. Love is conditional. Internet. Love is conditional.
You can love it. No. How dare you?
Yes.
So you mean to tell me you're superficial? How could you be a healer and be so superficial about this thing?
Because I have acquired wisdom, and it has been hard earned.
All right.
Hard earned wisdom. Listen,
Right,
look
has been
at here.
paid.
Look at here. You don't want to be moving around in ignorance.
Goddess, how old would you go? 20 years? 30 years old?
20 too much. 20 too much for me. But sometimes I think about it, because if I did go 20 years older, like, I know I can be sat down for real. I know I can be sat down for real.
You'll be sitting real pretty.
But I can sit real pretty less than 20. I think the cap I gave myself was like 15 years. And then, but all I've ever dated was a guy was like 9-10 years older than me.
And how was that awkward, or how was that?
No, because I felt like, his maturity was right. His maturity was my age.
I remember this Cuban lady that I used to work with said, you got to get you an older man. And her husband, I think he was 70 at the time, and she was like 50. And why is your husband so? Why you got somebody so much older? Because I'm always going to be young to him.
That's true.
That's why. And when she said that, I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense. But he's so old,
she probably doing the long game with the guy. She gets what she gets, and then she ain't got to worry about dealing with men ever again.
Whatever she wanted was what she got from him. Whatever she wanted was what she got. And she was like, if you want a relationship like that, you got to get somebody a lot older than you.
Yeah, I told you the guy that offered me in the car, he was older.
How old was he? How old was he?
I don't know. He felt like he was older than my dad. And my dad is like mid-50s.
Well, maybe it depends on what age you are, because
and he was
the younger you are. Yeah, I think the younger you are, I think it makes more of a difference until you reach a certain age. And then I think, you can perhaps date older, because, there was a time where, let's say, for example, now, maybe before there was somebody, I wouldn't date somebody that was balding, their hairline was receding. Now, if they're very, very fit, if they got a lock hanging on by a shoestring, that gotta go. But if their hairline is receding, if they're extremely healthy,
yeah,
I'd consider them. The health is number one, because they might lose their hair. If they're healthy, and I think hopefully also women are starting to reconsider. My eyes have changed. My thing is, I'm big on the treatment, the reciprocity, and the respect, and somebody that dotes on me like I naturally dote on them. It's so natural to dote. So my eyes are different. Like, I don't know how it wasn't occurring to me that I deserve that kind of treatment. I pour. It's natural to pour into men. I need that.
Someone has a question. Is it true that old men give you worms? That's what my mom told me. Is there any truth to that?
I think young men can give you worms with their dietary habits. I think young men could definitely eat so much trash and so indiscriminate. If you want some real life worms, deal with some of these discriminate folks that are following these music videos. You're going to get more than a worm, honey. There's all kind of worms. Not just old men could give you worms. Young men could give you worms and other parasites.
And what? Parasites?
Yes. There's all kinds of parasites. I know folks like to think that just because you're wearing a condom that protects you. No. The warts and any kind of skin to skin and the sweat. I mean, come on, has COVID not anything? Literal parasites.
Hold on, you getting worms through the sweat? You get worms through people's sweat?
Listen, if stuff is coming out of people's pores, and then also when you're getting intimately, and now in this day and age, oral sex is like kissing, and folks are much open to these stores now, all these online stores, intimate stores that's selling different types of so-and-so backyard plugs and other stuff. And
backyard plugs. Oh. Like,
backyard
plugs. She's trying to speak in code.
There's backyard plugs. And so now I think with these new generations, it's common language. Not that it didn't exist before. I think the issue is that we're just very lax when it comes to being protective of the health of our reproductive organs. Now, I remember years ago, them starting to have conversations around giving girls 14 years old the vaccine for human papillomavirus, right? The HPV. I remember years ago, at least over 10 years ago, they were talking about giving girls 14. Do you know now with the cancer, do you know that the HPV virus, men have it also, getting it from so-and-so intimate contact, and it is also, I can think of folks that have cancer as a result of it. So a lot of the dysfunction of there are cancers that come from diseases left untreated. These things we're not thinking about critically and discerning. Diseases left untreated, and many people are not going to tell you if they have an issue. If you see people, I've told my offspring, if you want to listen. If somebody is letting you hit it quick, they have no discernment. That is a red flag. Now you can get STD tests.
Can we say that anybody who's allowing you to be intimate with them quickly has something is probably wrong with them physically? Like they have.
Yes, there's no discernment and there's no vetting process. It's too fast. Like now you can have STD tests. You can get them online and do them privately. So if that's the case, right? This is what I would say to a young person and my offspring. They get tired of me talking about it, but I'm saving your life. I'm telling you, nobody's going to have this conversation. So that means if the test now, if you go onto Amazon.com, you can get your B12 test, you can get your STD test, male test. You can get a test for STDs, the whole battery of STDs before you engage with the person. So that means, right? Here's what Auntie K says. Grown folks do grown folk things. So before you engage, the homeboy should be investing, and both of you get tested right there before you engage. Where's the vetting process? Where's the standard?
They did
yourself.
There was an episode on Being Mary Jane where she did that. She had the guy come over and she had the STD kit, swabbed everybody, and waited for the results to happen before they had sex.
Charlene said, I remember my son had a rash on it after messing with somebody. It looked like ringworm, but it's going away after taking body cleanses. Ooh.
Okay. So I would also say this now. You see the prevalence now of all this yoni steaming. And just from Auntie K, if I'm not looking to offend anybody, if what I say doesn't resonate, please respectfully leave it right here. As someone has worked at a center with colonics and fasting and massage and all kinds of therapies for years, I would say that the prevalence now in all the yoni cleanses is because we're trying desperately to treat a lot of the STDs. And I'm sorry, there's not enough herbs sometimes to reverse some of the effects of a lot of these diseases will lie dormant in your system. So, this is not pleasant conversation, but you are really risking your life. When folks talk about what you're bringing to the table, you are literally risking your life every time you engage sexually with someone. I was contemplating, right now, if I'm married, where it stands right now, I think I would have to require, and people would get upset with this, I'm going to require regular STD test. And that's still with using a condom.
What did you say? Even while you're married, you will require STD
Yes,
test?
I've been thinking about it. Yes, on a regular basis. Yes. Yes, and I haven't engaged in years.
I mean,
and even
you can just have them throw that in your annual when they do that blood workup. Just have them throw the STD panel in there.
No, I want it on a regular basis because the amount of cheating. No, see, that is what gets us in trouble. Hold on, where's my chrome glasses? Let me put the glasses back on.
So wait a minute, we got to test every month. You got to basically test at least
quarterly, at minimum quarterly, because people
that's a lot of work.
Yes, quarterly, because at least
I would do every time you go to the doctor. Let's just throw that in there.
Because the consequences for my life, that's where it's at right now. I'd rather be uncomfortable and have that uncomfortable conversation than put my body at risk, because I can't get rid of that. I know of women in the senior centers. You know how you be clean all these years, and then in your senior years you getting a STD, and now you get little all that shame. That's extremely traumatizing.
Can you imagine going your whole life and then you reach 80 years old and you got gonorrhea?
Only being a people pleaser would have us not have this conversation. And in particular, Afro women, we're in such dire straits. The Centers for Disease Control, the numbers, AIDS ain't even it. our numbers are so out of whack. We're hanging on by a very thin lock, right? We're hanging on by a very thin string. So I say STD test on a regular, because there's no consequences. People only respond to consequences. That's the only way you could know. If the pastor's cheating, the teacher's cheating, the president is screwing, you telling me I'm being unreasonable with wanting a regular STD test?
Oh, my beer.
Right.
No. I got my glasses on, honey. These UGC glasses will save your life.
They will.
Don't wait, because there's no reverse effect. You can't just suck back in the STD and the virus that's laying inside of your spine, and every time you're stressed it comes out. That's too late to get the message. So all the wigs and the weaves and the Fenty Beauty, it's not going to help that. It's not gonna help the burning and the itching. I recommend all mothers, you take your daughters and your sons, set up an appointment for them at an early age. And this is what I did. I went and met the medical doctor first. I said, listen, give my child an exam, and I want you to also show them pictures of all the most intense diseases, right? This is me being strategic as a mom. I looked it up online constantly, and my son was like, please stop showing me all of this, because I know I don't want to see no more. You ODing. You can think I'm ODing. That's fine. Love is stronger than like. I want the doctor, because it's not me. Go to the doctor. Grown folks do grown folk things. When people have to hide and stuff like that, that's already a red flag. When you grown and a young man wants to take you somewhere, can they take you somewhere where you can relax and be safe? Is there an STD test? There has to be a code, a vetting process, and has actions attached to it. Go off the checklist. STD test, questionnaire. What are you prepared to do? Even with protection, and young men too, should a pregnancy occur, have the conversation beforehand. What are you prepared to do? Are you prepared to pay for ask the question so you can see what people's head at. That can help you stop you in your tracks.
Okay, hold on. Somebody says, yep, there's a woman on YouTube. Her husband gave her herpes and AIDS, and she's staying with him, and he's still cheating. Yo, what in the world?
I guess she figured that poverty mindset. She figured nobody gonna want her after that, so she might as well stay with him.
Goddess, you don't said a whole word, because right now there's some activity that's going on live. We're not gonna mention the names of some young women that are running through some circles, some cult activity, and what can be seen with mature eyes is that so many young women have STDs and feeling so much shame that they're like, well, I might as well stay with the person, right? And there's a young lady right now online, supposedly her diseases went so long untreated. She has so much inflammation in her body to the point that I hear them calling it a super strain. She had so much passing around back and forth with different people and not going to the doctor for medical treatment. There's morphed into something else. Fluid in her body, organs shutting down.
Wow. Okay, y'all.
So this is what the new age passing everybody back, and the polygamy this and the polygamy that. Okay. STDs in order, everybody STDs, and what's your compensation up front? Is it really enough money? There's not enough money for that. So I think that's why people are making other decisions, because they feel like their life is over.
And back to even the topic of sharing men, it's hard to even trust one man with your body and everything, and to be faithful and not to cheat and not to give you a disease at this point. You sign let these women fool you, tell you sign up to share and all this other stuff. That just opens up even more risks to your health, because now you got to account for other people who they sleeping with and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
and all this sharing. And I feel like we, especially as a community of Black people specifically, I'm speaking of now, we need to master a one-on-one relationship first. We need to, why are we trying to do these complicated, convoluted, high-risk relationship situations, and we can't get the two people straight as a collective?
Yeah.
I tell you why. Lack of accountability.
And we're not pushing it. We're not pushing it. We're pushing multiple partners thing because all of a sudden now it's delusional for Black women to assume to even want an exclusive relationship, and other women are telling us we're foolish for wanting that because they're not enough to go around and all that stuff. So just swap spit with everybody and just share the STDs, the STIs, the stress, and all of everything else with a group of women, rather than burdening yourself by trying to be exclusive with this guy who's not biologically designed to be exclusive with you. And it is insane what is going on right now. But a lot of these women are on this bandwagon. Like you ladies are fools if you think he only gonna be with you. You're not good enough for him to only want you. What are you bringing to the table? You're not pretty enough.
Is he good enough for you to only want him?
Well, that's a real question, but that's not what's on the table. What's on the table is for us to think realistically, and thinking realistically is pretty much thinking in life.
No, thinking realistically is thinking what they want you to think.
Well, that's what it is. That's really what it is at the end of the day, and it's real scary how the whole sharing thing is a conversation that's being normalized more and more and more by women. It's not just men, by women these days, and it's always under you're not good enough to be exclusive. You're not good enough. There's nothing about you that can sustain one man. You can't sustain.
When these women say these things, do they think they're good enough to be exclusive?
That's a good question.
Are they in an exclusive situation, or are they sharing their man, or do they have one?
Wow.
That's
I've witnessed this firsthand, and I'll say this: watching and being aware, I've had an experience where I was exposed to a group of people, a family per se, that was so-called polygamous, and in the group were I could think of 3 or 4 professional women with double degrees. And if I look back in retrospect with my hard-earned wisdom, here's what I see. I saw patterns, and I think women, we're tuned into cycles and patterns. There's some patterns that I noticed, right? And a lot of times these folks are not going to tell you the truth. They're not going to tell you of how they came into the relationship. They're not going to tell. Here's something that I saw. Most of those women were going through a life crisis, whether it was a divorce or had been cheated on or had a health concern, and so they were very vulnerable. And so someone was able to get into their ear in terms of fear. No one does something without a reason. So if somebody's very scared and feeling like their life is over, whether it's a young woman with an STD or older, mature woman that's gone through, that's, let's say, successful, has her house, has her degree, but you feel like her one man cheated on you, can get bitter. You're wide open psychologically. I think that's how women, we're vulnerable. We're very, very vulnerable when we're going through a life crisis. And also, I think the younger generation, because this is something I've watched. If you look at some of the popular platforms that are online, with the conscious crews, I think young women, in their naivete, are following young men who are very inexperienced. And I think they're looking at the older generation as like, y'all stuff is all jacked up, so we might as well try something new. Think that they're doing something new and revolutionary, right? In ignorance. So they think they're avoiding some of the errors of their parents. For example, they say, well, I'm going to have somebody to help me with childcare, and I have somebody to split the bills with. Then I don't have to worry about him cheating because he's telling me about the other women that he's dealing with. This is part of the rationale if you really, really listen. So they're not young. When you're younger, you're not hip to a vetting process. You're not hip, and you're thinking it's lack-based and it's fear-based, and it's a conflict of interest for somebody to give you the game. Men are not going to give you the game. And then also a lot of these men, you don't have the eye when you're thinking so fearfully. You're blind. They don't know to ask what questions to ask. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they've been experiencing trauma.
So let me ask y'all this: what do y'all think when you visualize the woman who is ideal for an exclusive relationship? Is there attributes in your mind that a woman should come with in order to be in a position to demand that type of relationship? Is there a blueprint for this thing?
No, because men Because men, one, want different things from different women or care about different things. One man might actually want you to cook, and one man might not actually care. But a reason why I say no is because I feel like, regardless of what you're coming with, if the man likes you, he just wants you. So it's not like, versus women who, we typically want certain things out of men. Men will just like you
So
for
you
whatever the reason is.
saying that you don't really have to have any specific attributes other than him really just liking you. Like he has to be into you. It really doesn't matter like what you do, what you know.
Yeah, I remember I was talking to a male associate, and we were talking for a while, and he made the comment that there were times he was dating women and he'll have them over at his house, and for whatever reason they started cleaning up like the maid, and he was like, you don't have to do that. But they felt like they had to. And he was pointing it out to me like they were insecure or felt like that was their value to him when he really didn't care.
So do you think, for the most part, the stuff that women are trying to learn how to do to become, I guess, wife material is really presenting insecurity?
Yes, because even if I look at my parents' marriage, my she doesn't really. My dad does most of the work.
Okay.
My dad does most of the work. Yeah, my dad does most of the stuff. Now, he's not a traditional man, right? And he probably set me up for failure a little bit because he's very well rounded. But he gets up, cut the grass, cook, does all type of things because he's a countryman from Jamaica, so they learn how to do everything. So
Background noise going like a clicking or something. I don't know what that is, but I keep hearing it.
So it's like, it just depends on what the man wants. I feel like in that situation, he just loves her. Now she does those things too, but he's not, you need to be the one to cook, clean, and scrub the floor, or else I'm not providing for you. That doesn't happen.
Okay. So for the
I would
most
agree. I would definitely have to agree again now with more mature eyes. I think there was a time where in my mind I started to play into that because that was the training. Those were the examples that you had to do all of this stuff. I think it's a matter of if that's what you believe, that's what you're going to get. If you see yourself as lesser value, that's what you will accept. People pick up on if you have. It's just like if you have a certain level of esteem, people don't bring certain BS to you or know that there's going to be a consequence. The consequence could be you're not in their life anymore. So I think it's really about somebody being into you. And I think there are intelligent men, or not even just intelligent men, and like that, like I just want to be with one person. So you may find, if you're very, very loose, you may find somebody, or just very uninhibited, and that's just where your state of mind is. You just may not be thinking of the consequences that come along with that. But that's what you're going to attract, because if that's what you're open to. There are people that are not open to that, for particular reasons. But there's a time where I considered it, but definitely looking at the benefits. But the benefits, or the benefits that were being purported or sold, like, why do I need to share rent? I could do that with some homies. I could get a roommate. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to get another white. And there's assumptions that the people are mature. There are a lot of assumptions that just, there's no evidence. I haven't seen, even when I was growing up in Brooklyn, seeing a lot of relationships, which were primarily in the Muslim community. I'll just be honest, and I'm not saying this all. A lot of times I see at the African Street Festival or certain areas of Brooklyn, a lot of times I noticed the women didn't seem very vibrant. A lot of them seemed very depressed. I noticed, just like similar to the Christian church, a lot of obesity. So I didn't see them flourishing. I didn't see the women in the church when I grew up. I didn't see them flourishing in terms of health and mental health and living their best life. And I definitely did not see it in the Muslim community. And in my little stint at the Nation, those women seemed to be more, the outfit. They seemed to be a bit more healthy. but then just the restriction and the control. So anyway, all that to say, I think it's really about if somebody is really into you and sees your value. If they see your value, I think the average man is not going to want to share that, because I think they're just intelligent enough to know it's too much distraction. I need to concentrate on one person, and most people are not rolling like that.
Let me read a comment here. A guy, UG says, a guy I knew said a woman got to come with more than a plate and a mop because I don't need a mother. Mine taught me well. What do you have? What is it? What do you have to you or to do or whatever? So she's saying that, you know, she came with the domestication and he was like, listen, I do all that myself. You know, that ain't, you ain't hitting on nothing with that. So is that,
he's not interested in her. He's not interested in her. And any man that asks you that question is not, again, this is what another set of eyes, and I would have been flipping out at that question at younger years. Any man that's asking you that does not value, he's not into you. Move on.
I've never been asked that.
Wow.
You said you've never been asked what?
I've never been asked, what do I bring to the table? I've never had a man ask me that.
You've never had a man ask you that? Wow. So what do
that's
they?
Because of your confidence. That's your confidence. Your bouginess has saved your life.
What,
that's called standards.
What are they usually asking you? What are they usually saying to you? Is there a common thread with all of them that you can, you know, recall in the conversation? Nothing? Uh-oh.
I'm laughing. A common thread. Well, I don't ask men out and I don't approach men either. So I'm figuring if a man approaches me is because he want to be there, because I'm not the one doing it first.
Okay.
I do think I have gotten, I look like I'm high maintenance. I have gotten that.
Okay.
And I have gotten, I'm nice to look at.
Okay.
And I have gotten, you're very confident.
You're very confident?
Yeah. And I have gotten, and we just have general conversation, but as far as like, what do you bring to the table? They've never asked me that directly, like I guess they're doing now. It's just natural conversation. The whole point is that the natural conversation of the date or the experience, you will eventually find out what that person is bringing to the table. So the fact that you have to verbalize that, it means that you are discount shopping and you are now also trying to assert yourself in a dominant position into having this mental game of trying to make this person feel like they need to please you.
So a few people in the chat are saying they've never been asked that either. Body, have you been asked what you bring to the table? You never been asked that either?
Actually, you know what? I didn't even think of that. No, actually, wow. I'm surprised that I haven't been asked that.
Now, just because you haven't been asked, don't mean that the trickery still won't come, because that sure enough will.
Correct.
Still come.
Correct.
Yeah.
I would definitely say that I just didn't see my value. I was very naive to my value. So I was definitely vetted for that. I just think I didn't see my value. So I was almost expecting, to be I don't know, hazed, or I was trying to show my worth and demonstrate. So a lot was coming from me, so I made myself open. So if you're open to if you're in a space where you're not sure of your worth, then you're going to act that out. It's going to come up automatically. Looking back, I was acting it out. So it's not just the person is trying to play. It's like you're offering, a free for all. So men folk especially going to take it.
Right.
Why wouldn't they?
Right. Yeah. So like quite a few people in the chat are saying they've never been asked. Okay.
I think this is honestly the whole bring whatever to the table thing. It's like either younger men or men who've been like fishing in the manosphere has been trying to use that. Because I feel like men of a certain generation don't even think of that as something to do. to be honest with
What generation would that be, you think?
you. Probably my father.
I'd say 45 and but then also I will say this now.
Now
Now
they're
you
getting
have
real
the men
bold
even
and out of control these days. Real
yes,
bold
now
and
there's
out of
some in there
control.
if there was always like the F boy, but they're just a chronologically older F boy, they're surfing the internet as well to look for justifications for, you know what I'm saying? Just very immature, risque, whatless, reckless behavior with women. There are many older men that are old that are reckless, you know, with their behavior still, even as they've aged.
Jane says they asking where you work though, which probably is the same fucking thing.
Yes, or what you do for your career or whatever. But still, I don't get asked that until usually later.
How much later? Like the third date?
Probably around, not the first, maybe second and third.
Second or third date? Okay.
Because I feel like, and it's so sad because we talked about this in the catacomb when I go out on my practice dates, is what I call them. They don't care about anything I got to say or whatever. I just look nice and they want to be seen and talk about whatever.
So for the most part, they're just your looks is bewitching, pretty much. That's pretty much what's going on there. Because
Yes, and I notice they take notice when, because you know I like to dress.
Okay.
And the waitress compliments me on my outfit, or you know, other people are affected in the room, or they notice other men looking or whatever, and they take note of those things. But yeah, I feel like, and that's the other side. I feel like the actual intrinsic value that I have doesn't even come into play until like maybe I'm in a full-blown relationship after a period of time. I feel like a lot of, as far as dating is concerned, now when I was in actual relationships, yes, but as far as dating is concerned, I haven't really, not too much met men interested in any kind of depth.
Any kind of what?
Depth with me.
Oh, okay. So they're not looking for in-depth conversation with you. They don't want to go deep.
To me, it feels surface level, but at the same time, I also recognize I'm a deep person, so there is a depth. But to me, understanding the levels of the depth, it feels surface level to me. So maybe to them, they might be thinking that this is very deep.
But to you,
no.
So that's the common thread that you're experiencing for the most part with dating men, is that it's surface with most of them.
Yeah, and I feel like in the past, when I was talking too much, I felt like that prevented things.
Now do you got chicken rooster? You gotta mute yourself a little bit. Lord.
but now that I'm quiet and I'm observing and I'm responding and listening to what they're saying, they're not really asking me anything deep.
Okay. So that's what's going on with you. I have been asked, what do you bring to the table, and I have responded nothing at all. I really have just done that, and
I would say.
But to me, it was a signal that you were not truly interested, and you're kind of like toying with me. This is the conversation is just busy work, not really wanting to get to know. You got me on an interview, girl. You gotta mute yourself.
Let me mute this because the roosters are going crazy.
Oh, Mr. Logical, are you back again? You're such a fan. Oh my God. Thank you.
So I took it as an insult, because to me it was, because every woman is not being asked that. You have women that are asked, what do you need? And you have women that are asked, why you need. Two different things. And I've been on the end of, well, why do you want that? Why do you think you need that? It was always you have to prove yourself kind of thing. You have to prove your worth for the things that you're asking for. It was never I want to do for you. I want to know how I can help you. It was always scrutinizing. That energy of being scrutinized for value has always been something that I have experienced. So I understand what that is. But now that they're savvy and they're just asking you what you do, how you're paying for stuff. There's other ways of them asking now, what do you bring to the table? They're just rearranging the nouns and the verbs and all that kind of stuff to ask the same damn thing. So you gotta watch out for that either way, because whether they ask it on the third date, second date, fifth date, they want something. All these men want something from you. They just want to know how much it costs. They just want to know how much it costs to get this something that they want. Let's see here. The higher your confidence, the more they seek to bring you under control.
That is true. That is true. That is true. From my observation with the men in my family in particular, confidence is portrayed as like you're a stallion that needs to be reined in. They prefer shy women.
They prefer, you said men prefer shy women? Mm-hmm. You think so?
That's what my father told me last week.
They prefer, did he say why men prefer shy women?
No, but I could put two, I can understand why men prefer shy women.
Is it because they do whatever they ask? Is that what it is? Or
no, because it's like what you were saying. It's like they can give you your confidence. They can affirm you. They can feel like they're doing something. So if you're coming in confident, they feel like it makes them nervous. It makes their back straighten up a little bit. And you don't need that much affirmance. So now they're assessing what do you need them for, which is creating insecurity in them.
Oh. Okay.
Well, what about Dita Von Teese? If we look at a figure like Dita Von Teese or different sex symbols, they're not shy, at all. If you even look at the color purple, was it Suge in the color purple? So you had Celie, who was very, homely and not confident, couldn't smile. And then you had Suge. So Mr. was more interested in Suge, who was like, at the juke joint. She was the one he was running and breaking his neck for her. And the other one, he was going to the bathroom on top of her. You know what I'm saying? So I think men do want confidence. They just treat it totally different in terms of confidence. I think shy is more so control. I've heard some men folks say that I got to get him young. That's why I'm getting young. They don't give you no lip. Or, that's more of I think a control, or if perhaps a man doesn't feel at a certain status in his life or on the food chain, every man respectively, and wherever he is at in the food chain is going to look, they want to dominate something. They want to feel dominate for them, which is manly. They want to be able to dominate something. So I think it also speaks to that's who they can get in control. But I don't think it takes away from their desire, a Dita Von Teese or a Vixen or that woman that's exciting and sexy. Maybe that's one of the reasons that they cheat. They still desire her.
That is bold. Her comment. I'm in groups with non-Black women and they have completely different experiences. You know what? I do have associates who are white women, and I've discussed dating with them.
What's the different experience? What are they experiencing different than?
It is like, and I even experienced, because I told you white men have approached me now. And I know brothers especially get mad when women say this, but it's like they don't come with the you need to prove yourself to me type of attitude. It's like they come expecting that this is a courting situation.
You mean non-Black men? You're talking about non-Black men now.
Non-Black.
Okay.
With white, I've had colleagues I've worked with that said, oh, I'm on Match. I'm not even dating him if he makes less than 100K. And I'm not even talking about, this is like some model somewhere. This is like regular white women. Like nothing for you to be, pressed about. And the men are generally not coming with all these damn complaints. But you know what? Mr. Logical, I see you're so vibrant in the chat. If you want, because you know you were asking, you want to see receipts on these men that I've dated. You know, if you want to take me on a date, okay, and you can see for yourself why all these high value men or quote unquote want to date me.
Uh-oh. Throw your hat in the ring. Throw your hat in the ring, Mr.
But first, I would actually need to see your face first. Right? I would actually need to, so you need to update the avatar so I can see your face first, and then you can blur out the important information, but I need a pay stub as well, and then we can get that.
Oh Lord, yeah. Criminal background check, all of that. Yo, all of that. So from what you're saying, non-Black men are not into. They're not.
They court more.
Oh, they're more into the courtship.
Yeah, I think, and it's not like drastic, but it's noticeable. The expectation is different.
So, how do you feel? So are you open to non-Black men? Like you know, because of that, is that something that you would consider? Because it seems like they, you know, accommodating more.
I said Black men are my preference. Let's put that out there.
Okay.
But I'm gonna revisit this these options. I'm gonna give Black men like a 1-2 year shelf life. We'll see what my dating results in. And then maybe I might, because especially the area I live in, listen, the past, actually the balance kind of went back, but for a while it was a lot of white and Hispanic men approaching me. More so, I mean, Black men were too, but I noticed like it was like an uptick. So I don't know if what's his name? Chet Hanks. He had that White Boy Summer song. I don't know if that mobilized them to do something. I don't know, but I just noticed it.
Okay, DP says, plus if you notice, non-Black men do not come with a lot of requests. And if you notice, their women are average and they will pay for a gym membership.
That's true. That's what I said, less complaints.
So they're willing to work with you and upgrade things if things need help.
It's not even like a work with you situation. It's just like, to me, common dating courtship practices that seem to be going drain down the toilet.
Would you say that's cultural, or would you say that's due to earning power, economic earning power? Like, let's say if someone is more, if we have men that are not as high in terms of earning, where their earning is, that they lowball, or that they put that onto women that they feel that they can get, that they have access to, right, because of what they earn, right? Like they're not as comfortable, or could we say that's associated with? I don't want to say poverty. I don't know if I want to say poverty, if that in connection, if that part of the trauma of our culture has made our men like downgrade in their behavior. Like a lot of things have gone out of the window in their frustration with their earning, or wherever they are in terms of their earning, where they're earning, right? That they've, like, the standard has gotten lower.
Goddess Gold says Black men will level himself up with a Becky, but will make a Black woman prove her worth. What do you say to that?
Yeah, it's our perceived value as a collective. Our perceived value, there's this narrative, all the things. There's this perceived value that we are somehow less, or we have to be twice as good to attract. Because I've seen with my own eyes. I've seen situations I've been privy to. Gang of kids be looking fake, wrinkle, crow's feet out, the all kind of not it.
Okay.
Still being chose, still being picked when the the black equivalent would not even be bachelor. I've shared this in the catacombs. I'm a male associate is what I'm going to say. And I said, you know, this woman has 3 kids, twice divorced, older than you, all this other stuff. And I said, you know, if this was a black woman, you would even bat an eye twice at her. And he said yes.
And he acknowledged.
He agreed. So
it was because she was white that he was more.
She was white. She was Russian. So she's more cultured.
Oh, more cultured.
I guess in his mind. And she was available. She proposed to him.
Oh, she proposed to him. And he
ladies, don't do anything like that ever. Do not propose to a man.
So that was what he could get then. So was it just a matter
of he could have
dated
others, but for whatever reason. And then she proposed to him and he said yes in the moment, but they broke up 2 weeks afterwards because he felt pressured. And that is why you do not propose to a man.
Yeah.
Because he will embarrass you.
Never do that. Like never do that. So Goddess, you're saying that you're gonna give it another 24 months.
Might be less than that. I don't know.
Oh, we might have to talk about this in the catacomb.
Yeah. But no, I'm very confident in my manifestation skills.
Okay.
I'm very confident in what I desire.
Okay.
So I don't even think it would need to be all of that, but I got options. And as a woman, you always want to have options, and that's what I'm going to say on that. Because when these men perceive you as optionless, you know,
they give you their sweaty booty cracks.
You get treated like used up toilet paper.
Right.
Yeah. Reuse toilet paper, like reuse toilet paper. Right. The whole status thing now. I can't wait for this part to be over, but it seems like it's never going to end. The whole conversation about the high value versus low value and who's entitled to what seems to be like it has taken a life of its own, and everybody is so interested and dedicated, like really dedicated to telling us black women what we are not entitled to. And like you said in the beginning of the live, Goddess, there's no other woman, there's no other race. You don't hear these other women talking to them about what they're not entitled to. But for some reason, everybody got a phone and an Instagram account, got something to say about what we are not supposed to be having. And they think they're an authority because they throw a few stats in there and all that stuff, and you just have to settle. So, just get with it. If you don't settle, you're gonna be a cat lady.
Okay. Yeah, it's so fear based, and I just reckon that
everything
like we've been so traumatized. We've been so traumatized that I'm humbled. I am humbled. I think it's we would do well to take a moment to sit, and it's something you can online called the 6 basic human fears, to just check out the fear, because most of our decisions are based out of fear, and the fear winds up making us we get what we didn't want in the first place through making decisions based out of fear. So the only ones that really have a vested interest in removing ourselves from that conversation is us. So in that sense, UGC is, I would say, it's revolutionary. I know for me, like, I've made a conscious decision. Again, I had the option to engage polygamously, and I didn't have a problem. I saw, y'all happy with that? But when I saw the treatment, I was like, okay, this is polygamous. The women have a place. Let me keep it real. Yeah. This is what the person told to entice me. This is what the person said to entice me. Mind game. So how old are you? This is what a person said to me in my home. How old are you? What age is your retirement? He said, so basically, if you come on board here, you'll always have a plate of food and a place to stay, a place to sleep.
Wow. So
are you kidding me? Now, me and my idealistic mind, I'm looking at community and fruits and vegetables. And see, this is how women idealistic, looking at sharing responsibilities and stuff. And so the person had a whole other agenda. So, but what clicked in me was like, everyone has issues, humans, but I was like, I was eating good gourmet food, eating at nice restaurants. I have my bicep, you know what I'm saying? I have options for other stuff. And then the treatment, the main thing is treatment. As I watched sometimes how he was talking as women, and almost like they didn't, highly intelligent women to think. And I was like, I just could not get comfortable with that treatment, because I had made a decision years ago. I could leave. I'm just not going to accept that there's enough esteem in me to walk away, and those are defining moments. I don't know that younger women, with all of that trauma surrounded around them, there's no conversations for them to process trauma, so that the esteem has been co-opted. It's been compromised out the gate. But I had something within me to say, I deserve more than this treatment.
If you really analyze what they're saying, they talk like pimps.
Right.
They're really, the whole lingo, the whole sales pitch is really a pimp game.
Right.
I actually said to the Salkis, hold on to your locks, honey. I actually said to this esteemed elder, after he said it to me, so what do you think about that? I said, you sound like a pimp. And the other women that are around said nothing. Grown adult women, double degrees, said nothing. I said, there was enough in me to say, call it. I wasn't being disrespectful. I said, you sound like a pimp.
Wow.
So that right there, I'm so grateful just to have enough wherewithal in me to get up and leave, because it only gets worse. And those are defining moments when you subject yourself to that. It's only going to get worse.
All right, ladies, I'm gonna go. But it was nice having this conversation with you guys and the UGC family. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram for my goddess channel, which will eventually be up, you can go at goddess.alchemy and follow me there. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys maybe in the next panel.
See you soon, goddess.
Bye, Mr. Logic.
Appreciate it. Sean is saying, I'm a man of color and I dated to give, and what did all that simping get me? Single, used, and butt hurt. So he's saying because he catered, I'm assuming because he gave a woman what she asked for, he was then mistreated and left with, I guess, nothing but use.
It's unfortunate if he feels that way, but why would you limit yourself because of one or two experiences, a few experiences? Maybe perhaps only we can step back and reassess and choose differently. Do you write your whole life off on all women? Because it sounds, just like a woman, you could become very bitter and you could be missing out on other experiences. There's a plethora of women, out here. If that is the narrative that you choose to hold on to, even though that did happen to you, then you'll likely miss out. A bitter man, a bitter woman. It sounds like that was your experience. Perhaps you can assess and say, wow, how did I choose this person that did not treat me well? Same as a woman. Where was I that I chose somebody that didn't treat me well? Because I know if I had a man that was saying that to me, how that would show up. That would show up for me as this person is damaged, or damaged only in the sense that they haven't put that into its proper perspective. They haven't moved on from that negative experience. So I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with someone, even, because I feel sorry for them or whatever. That would be like they haven't resolved what happened. And I think this could be the same thing for a woman.
I honestly feel that the problem with people, the reason why we're all suffering from misuse and mistreatment from people that we are choosing as partners is because we're always looking for someone better than us. That's why. And when you're always looking for someone better than you, they will treat you like they're better than you. And it's really as simple as
Do you mean that? Do you mean that in the sense of when you say better than you, in terms of like you like them more than they like you?
Better than you as far as their status, what they have to offer. It could be their intelligence. It could be sexually. It could be physically. financially, whatever it is, you're assuming that this person has more value than you. And that's why you're with them. That's why you're seeking them out. That's why you want them in your life. And they show you in turn, they show you that they agree with you, that they have more value than you. And that's how we wind up getting misused and mistreated and taken advantage of. We always want somebody better than who we are. Because most of us, if not all of us, really don't like who we are. We're not really looking for equals. If we're going to be honest about that, we're really not that's not who we're attracted to. We're really never hardly attracted to somebody equal because we're always internalizing our worth. Well, I'm this and I'm that, and I'm so in this, and kind of sort of in this, and so we want somebody to be what do they call our better half? You're looking for not your equal, but your better half, someone better than you. So when that person comes along and you start interacting with them like they're better than you, they're going to reflect that back to you, and it's going to be a shit show. It's going to be that situation where everyone's understanding that I'm bringing more value than you have. You've established that. In our conversations and what you've allowed me to get away with, and what you talk about yourself, the things that you say about yourself that you don't like about yourself, which a lot of women are preoccupied with talking about and stating and highlighting things that they hate about themselves to these men. So once you create that environment, he goes, oh well, I'm here to rescue you. I'm here to build you up. I'm here to lift you up. I'm here to make you whole. I'm here to make you a better. This is what men have said literally to women, and they think somehow something out of that is going to be respect, a respectful relationship, a relationship where he doesn't feel like he's doing more than what you're giving. It hardly ever ends that way. It hardly ever ends that way because you've established that he is there to complete you. If he's complete you, then he has the control. It's the same way when we talk about beauty is in the eye of the beholder. If beauty is in the eye of the beholder has the power, not you. You could be beautiful, but it ain't activated until the person looking at you said so. So they are carrying your self-worth as their personal perspective about you, and they're just walking around with that bag. And whenever they're ready to give you a cookie, here you go. You look nice today. Here you go. Now you have value today. Here you go. We can't live like that, but we often do. The problem with a lot of these men is they go after women who do not care about them. This is why they get burned. It's not because you're a gifted man that you get taken advantage of. You get taken advantage of just like women get taken advantage of. When women go after men who they've established are better than them in some way, it's the same thing. If she's pretty and she's telling you, you're not my type, and you still chasing her, what do you think you're going to get? What do you think you're going to get out of that? You've already established disrespect from the moment you run behind somebody who's telling you, listen, I'm only here for $1 or whatever it is.
So the gentleman, the person, the man that just commented, he said, I got simped. He said, I got used.
Yes.
So it just, now, just saying this, it just makes me sit back and reflect. All of us in our quiet moments, should we sit back and reflect? Because we're allowing, maybe we don't realize we're younger, but we're actually allowing. How did I choose someone that treated me like that? Because if you said simp, it sounds like you're saying, like, there's several things that happen if you got misused and you got mistreated. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Did you learn anything from that? Or is your point of reference now, like, I'm not dating anymore, I don't want to be bothered with women anymore, I'm just going to go get a blow up doll, or I hate women, or I hate black? Only you can decide that, or you can assess how did I get something I didn't desire? Or did I desire this treatment from this person? They're beautiful, I'm so enamored, I just accept any old kind of treatment, from folks. Because this is women also. And something interesting that came up as you were speaking, Salkis, I remember when I had my godmother would tell me certain things like this that would kind of advance concepts. If I was 16, I don't think, and based on where I come from, I don't know that I would totally understand, like, okay, what to do next, right? Like if I was 16, right, and we want to save our young girls, and our young men, right? How would that play out? Because I used to be thinking, like, well, what does that look like in terms of the behavior, right? What's the process? I heard one young man say, my mom she told me everything, not to do, but she didn't tell me what to do in terms of the specifics and the behavior. So in order to neutralize that, right, as a young person, right, because I think also girls without their fathers, right, are already kind of set up to a certain degree to choose or to put ourselves in harm's way in relationships where, because you're seeking something, somebody that doesn't really want you. You're so desperate for attention.
Yeah.
You're so desperate for attention that we wind up making those kinds of choices. Somebody,
yes.
Oh my goodness.
Desperate for attention and acknowledgement. It goes all the way. It circles back around.
So what do we say to a 16-year-old? What if you're 16? Like, what would I do with that information at 16? What would that look like in terms of choices? You know, or something different, or to have a discerning eye?
You're not going to have a discerning eye at 16. You're not. You're not fully developed yet. You don't know anything yet. You have to have women around you who are giving you the real. And a lot of us don't have women around us that are giving us the real. They're giving us hope. And a lot of us have mothers who want us to fall on our faces, unfortunately. And a lot of us have mothers who we're in competition with, unfortunately. So there's really, that support system that every girl is supposed to have, where she is fed the real deal Holyfield, is very few and far between. These mothers, I don't know how a mother can let a 15-year-old her 15-year-old daughter have a boyfriend, and you understand what level of game and manipulation these men do to get in the pants, and you see that you're undeveloped, your child is undeveloped mentally, but you allow her to have a boyfriend and think somehow that she's going to figure it out at 15 years old, when you haven't figured it out at 50, when you still getting scammed at 50. Why are we doing that? You need to I put my fucking foot down for mine. My fucking size 12 on everybody's chest in my house. It's not going down. I know you're not mature enough for that. It's just not happening. And if we're in conflict about that, and you think you can do better, you're doing better at another address. And I mean that shit. I don't have a revolving door for that nonsense. And I tell mine, because I got a 15-year-old now, and I give her the real. She be blushing from here to kingdom come and back, because I give it to her raw, just like I'm talking to y'all right now. I don't edit for her. I don't edit shit. I let her know what is going on. So on my watch, you can never say that mommy didn't give you the real, and mommy didn't tell you XYZ and what to watch out for. You have to let them know.
So this is interesting, Salkis, because as I'm hearing you speak, constantly I would have people saying, you say that to your son? You say that, like, orchestrating doctor visits, look at the diseases, like, don't listen to boys at the lunch table. Let me tell you, they're all lying. And people act like I was being extreme. I'm like, listen, STDs out here is real. I said it's a million banana peels with your name on it. It's 1 million banana peels with your name on it. You make one mistake, one slip up, that it's going to change the whole trajectory of your life. And to me, I didn't think that was fear-based. And maybe there's some positive type of fear in terms of like a caution. I always said, know that I have had the conversation with you. You can't say that I didn't have the conversation and you didn't know better. But the pull out here, the pull of trying to fit in, and the culture, it is such a hypnotic pull to live out everything that's in a music video.
Yeah, it really is. And this is why you need to have a conversation with your daughters about vanity and about beauty, because that's how they get sucked into the shit. It ain't nothing else but I want to be attractive to somebody, so some boys people want to fuck me. That's all this shit is. And you have to let them know, just like that, verbatim, you want to look pretty, so somebody want to bring you over. And I'm telling you, there's no value in that, because they're not coming with paying no bills. They're not coming with genuine concern for you. They're coming with, I want to practice on you. I want to see how your booty work. I want to experiment with your vagina. You have to tell these girls that. But women won't say that, because women are telling other women the best thing that you can be is beautiful. While she knows that dick goes in her mouth, ears, anus, eyeballs, and everywhere else, and then he goes on his way. Every one of us know that. So then why is the message just be beautiful and let that be the sum total of your value? And we think somehow these girls ain't gonna get trapped up by it. Because all it takes is one
That's a setup.
to be on her back.
That's a setup.
One compliment will get a girl on her back because it happens to adult women. It happens to adult women every single day.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
Because of the vanity that this thing happens. So you have to divest from beauty. A lot of us think we're cuter than what we are. If we really want to be real about it. A lot of us think we're cuter than what we actually are. And that kind of delusion is okay for you. But then when you're talking to somebody else, you have to know how they really fucking feel about you. So that when you're making these decisions based on what you think about yourself, you understand, well, okay, this person may not agree with me. So let me know, let me think for a second. What are they really here for? What are they really here for? We get tripped up by our own egos. I'm cute, so he should think I'm cute too. I know he sees my value. I know he sees all of this, and what he sees is a vagina. What he sees is something that.
Salkis, you saying a whole word here, Salkis. You saying a whole word.
Hold on, that is what he's seeing. He's not seeing you as a human being. So this is why we have to take that shit off the table and get out of our big ass heads about this shit and understand that anybody, whether you're cute or not, you can get laid on your back for coins, out for pennies out here. Just on GP because a person is bored. There's pretty women on their backs because a nigga's bored. It ain't just ugly women.
It's being encouraged though. It's being encouraged. It's being encouraged. That's the thing. It's being encouraged. And nobody, it's like, how do we not tell the truth? And then for the young men out there, and this is why I would say to my offspring, your homie, the boys at the lunch table not telling the truth. Because we got folks now at young tender ages walking around with STDs.
Yeah.
We have children almost walking around with STDs. And here's the thing, like, back to the cancer we were talking about earlier, the human papilloma virus, all these other viruses set you up for cancer. So I often think like folks, when you're in your 20s, you're not thinking of your trajectory. You're not thinking down the line of these diseases stay with you and they'll spread to other parts of your body. And then just what that's going to do to you psychologically,
nobody cares about that because that's logical and that's reasoning. Look, when somebody's saying, "Oh, Salkis, they're gonna come for you now." Why? Because I'm telling the truth. Why? Because I'm telling the truth. People don't want the truth. They want to feel good. They don't want the truth. They just want to feel good. And this is a problem with women in general. We just want to be acknowledged. We don't even care if it's the truth. And the problem with us is that most of the times it's not the truth. Most of the times, the things that are being told to us is not how people fucking feel. And you're assuming that your work, you're quantifying your work based on the feedback that you're getting from other people when 9 times out of 10, they're lying to you. They're lying to you about what they think about you. There is a high percentage rate, and this is how you got to think. Like 90% of what this person's saying is not the truth. And this is psychology now. Every 10 sentences we say, nine of them is a lie. That's psychological stuff. So we have to assume and prepare for all of that, and not base our life around this. I'm this and I'm this and I'm this. Who gives a shit at the end of the day? Everybody.
You gotta get the same. You gotta get the same result because STDs don't play no favorites. STD don't play no favorites.
You're pretty. I'm not gonna infect you because you're cute. You got a nice shape. So I'm gonna go to
unintended pregnancies don't play no favorites, and then we talk about so and so supremacy, but in our choices we're continuing generational poverty. Children that are set up because they're coming, we're allowing ourselves to be impregnated unintentionally out of ignorance and just out of vanity. Like you're immune. Yeah. If Halle Berry, is not immune, and all the pretty girls in the neighborhood is not immune, what would make us think that we're immune? Just ignorance, or sometimes willful ignorance.
It's all of that.
Ignorance.
It's all of that. Look at somebody like Halle Berry now, which they're telling her she's old. They're basically that's why her name is synonymous now. Whereas back in the 80s and 90s,
her name is synonymous with what?
They're saying that she's old. They're making old remarks about her.
So after all of that, now she just gets thrown in the trash.
This is what I'm saying though. This is what I'm saying. Back in the 90s, when you ask a black dude who pretty, Halle Berry's the first name that came up.
I mean, they said about Janet Jackson. Then I watched folks that had Janet Jackson on their wall. I watch these same folks say, "Oh my gosh, she gained so much weight. She this," and I said, "You's a damn hypocrite. You had her up on your wall, but that was then." I said, "Y'all don't give two peach pits about these celebrities." You know what I'm saying? So they're being siphoned off. I was like, you were worshiping it, yeah. So you were worshiping her just for her body. It's the same thing. Nobody cares about her mental health.
No.
Or whatever. She's entertainment.
No, you better care about your own mental health. You have to consider your own mental health. That is not the
and when you do, you're gonna get so much. Just be prepared. Be prepared for insults, jokes. You have to notice. I remember once, many years ago, there was a man, my friend, that said to me, "You want too much. You're gonna be alone." And because I said I didn't want a man that drank and smoked, I'll never forget that. I was like, that's all I'm asking. Somebody doesn't drink and smoke. I don't prefer that. But the what I was told was that I was gonna be alone. That was actually really affected me psychologically. It threw me off. I was like, why would you say something like that to me?
Fair tactic again, and everything is you better. They wagging their finger in your face like you better do this or you gonna do that. Everything is a fucking threat. Every advice that we get as Black women is peppered around a goddamn threat. It's never around anything. Nobody cares. They're just throwing out orders, but nobody cares about your well-being.
But the person didn't even think it was, and this is the thing, didn't even blink to say something that was supposedly their friend. And I'm a younger woman, to say you're gonna be alone. Like, how did it affect somebody's psychology? This is why women need UGC. Young women need UGC. You need somebody that has a vested interest in you, that's not trying to scam you, get in your purse, your panties, and your psyche. You know, like that. You need someone that has a that is not trying, you know what I'm saying, to exploit you. And so where do we go? Usually we go to, I think the option for many people is religion. Many of us have been raised to assume that religion, but now we can clearly see what's going on up in there.
Yeah, there's predators everywhere. There's predators. There's religious predators too. There's religious predators. There's men who have no money who are still predators. And you think because he doesn't have the what is it? The lust for material gain, you feel like, okay, something
Era.
And he
put the UGC glasses on. Era.
He's a predator
that's
too.
A good one, Salkis. That's a good one, because wait, hold on, let's run it back, because somebody 16 to 17 might be listening to that. Because now that I think about it, I thought it was true. Because they're spiritual. They're gonna come say, "Mommy, he's spiritual. He's not religious. He's spiritual, and he exercises, and he comes from a good family." So all of this is what somebody thinking they're making a different choice.
Yeah.
Thinking they're choosing differently because it appears to be so different from what they've been used to.
Yeah.
And so that's not a vetting process. That's not enough of a thorough vetting process. And vetting, I didn't know what vetting was at one time. That's running a litmus test, an interview, background checks, and cross references. And if it doesn't meet these standards, then it's a no-go. It's a no-go. It's too dangerous.
It's pretty much. And I would say this because you have some men that are savvy enough to answer questions, very, very nicely. He's giving you the answers that seem balanced, that seem reasonable. He seems like a nice guy. He's thought all those things through. So when you're asking questions during your vetting process, you're like, okay, you're building up confidence here and security within the answers that he's giving you. But at the end of the day, it's always about what they do. And it's about consistently seeing patterns in what people do. Because most men, if not all of them, which I really need to be honest as a mother and a woman and a Black woman myself, to say all men lie, all of them. So
white, Black, Asian, when you're thinking I'm not going to do all.
It's discernment. You have to match actions to words. You have to match the actions to words. These men will say that they like the way you look, that you're the most beautiful woman he's ever been with, and he's so impressed by you and all this kind of stuff. And meanwhile, he's not meaning any of it. He's not taking any of that seriously. But his role and his job, he feels, based on how he's assessed your worth by how you look, is that you probably need to be affirmed. Especially if you're Black, you're a little overweight or whatever. I'm pretty sure you need to be affirmed because you have some self-esteem self-esteem issues and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go that route. I'm going to start complimenting you on things that I know you're insecure about. That's where I'm going first. I know that you're probably.
So that's a good distinction, Salkis. Salkis, that's so important.
The things that I know, hold on, the things that I know that you're insecure about, I'm going to start right there. If I know you're fat, girl, you're so juicy, you know, your shape, you know, I don't know what these people, they don't see what I see. They don't see what it is that I see. And he starts working on you. He starts working on your mind and affirming and affirming everything about you that you doubt is what he tackles first. And that builds the confidence there. Because if he's concentrating on something that you feel is a weakness and a shortcoming about you and saying that he likes it and he thinks it's the best thing about you, here you go. Now you're attached. Now that validation vein is open and he's pumping into you. This is what happens. And then next thing you know, you're thinking about him all the time. You're waiting for the next hit. Every time you call him, he gives you another hit and another hit and another hit. And before you know, you're like, you know, I this guy, I've never met anyone like this. I've never met, he's so supportive and he's so understanding and all that stuff. And he really ain't nothing but feeding you lines, feeding you what he sees, what he's already assessed is something that you're lacking. He's giving that to you. And this is how women wind up on their backs for thank you. And nothing more. He ain't paying a bill. You can't depend on him. Or you call on the side of the road, he's the last person you can call. And if you call him, he's saying you need to call a tow truck because I can't get to you. He's always busy and got something else to do when it's time for him to show up with something other than a fucking compliment for you. That's what's going on. And then you have these bitches out here that tell you that you need to settle for somebody and have some community dick dripping green shit out his dick and just circling around the mucus and the bugs and all that kind of stuff because you're not good enough to have somebody exclusively for you. You were born to settle. You were born to fail. This is what these fucking women out here are telling us, that we were born to fail and we were born to be mediocre. So the mediocre conversation is so common now with us. It's so common now, and they just pumping it in. And God forbid she look a little cute when she's saying it. And then she becomes authority. And she got a little cuteness about her. Then we really believe her. Well, she's valid because, she don't really need to be saying this because she could have whatever she wants. So somehow she's more valid.
There's a whole YouTube channel, Salkis, of young women saying this. Wow. There's a whole YouTube channel. I've seen young women say this on a YouTube channel. I've seen young women say this in the conversation. It's like, well, you might as well, sis, because, you're going to need help raising that child, or, so we could get together. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is so real right now. This is so real. So what kind of defense do girls at 16 and 17 have when they're just looking so fearful, so that it becomes at least, or I might as well, at least somebody loves me. At least somebody's going to accept me, and have no idea of what they're getting into. And you just said something, they're getting a hit. I don't know if many 16-year-old girls have the maturity to realize, like, I don't have the eyes. If you're 16, 17, I don't have eyes yet. Yes, somebody can give me a cell phone or something like that. But imagine 16 with a cell phone and you're in 30s with a cell phone. A cell phone is nothing. I have a cousin right now that has that passed not long ago from a family member from complications of morbid obesity. And I remember I was training some clients, and I said, come on, we're going around Prospect Park. Don't worry about it. I got you. You don't have to pay anything. Come on. I know she could use some support. And I remember the morning of, she called me and said, I'm not going to be coming because I got a date. I'll never forget it. He said, he bought me groceries. And I remember saying, like, wow. I said, okay, no. I said, no worries. She's gone. She's gone. And if I would have had a conversation, I remember the men in my family, in popular Black culture, we make fun of each other, doing the dozens, getting hot on each other, and we'll poke fun at her, make elephant sounds when she would walk by, or tease her. That stuff is actually traumatizing. So looking back, when she got affirmation from somebody to buy her groceries and give her a couple of words, she got complacent. And I would hear her say things like, I could get me a man and he's going to take all of this. She was very unhealthy. She's dead now. She's dead from complications with morbid obesity, the comorbidities that come with it, diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure. But she said numerous times, I could get me somebody. You know, so the standard is so low. I think we're in denial and not even cognizant. There's not an awareness of our lack of esteem. There's a lack of awareness of our own trauma. There's a denial and not a language for our own. Not me. Look at me. Look at all this is to love. You know?
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I'm telling you straight up.
Yeah.
I've thought about it many a time in a time with social media. I'm glad for the body positive. But as somebody that's worked in a fitness, so I'm actually really glad to see women like, this is it, you know, this is me. Like, love yourself, because when you're loving yourself, you're going to start to do other things to honor yourself. So, you know, embracing yourself right now. Many people are waiting till after, and you wind up suspended animation.
Let me say this. The problem that I have mostly with the love yourself thing is that it translates over as, look at me. Can you see me? It still goes into acknowledge me. I'm here. You know, I'm big and whatever it is, you know, but you know, I'm beautiful, and I still need your thumbs up. I still need you to support.
So are you saying that doesn't mean that you have esteem, because by virtue of the litmus test of the eyes, the keen eyes, are you still looking for the validation from outside?
They're still looking for it. They're still looking for it. So it's really no different. It's really no different at the end of the day. A lot of, because I see it all the time on social media. The whole, you know, I'm this and I'm that, and I'm loving on me, and I'm like, well, is that all? That's you? Okay, you're in the bikini. Yeah, you're in the bikini. You're showing this, whatever. You're showing your flaws, and that's supposed to translate as, I'm confident because I'm showing you my flaws. Why does overexposure always have to be synonymous with you loving who you are? Why is the overexposure always got to be a part of that? Because a lot of this stuff, like you know, from being in UGC, you gotta tuck things in. Everybody don't need to know that you overcame anything, or that you were battling with this or that. But you find them telling everybody their story,
and it's manipulated. It's actually wanting to be used against you.
A target. They make themselves a target for people. Girl, high five and all that kind of stuff. And most 9 out of 10 people high fiving her don't believe it. They're laughing behind her back too. That's a very real thing.
Wait, you said they don't believe it, so they're high five and they say, "Oh, girl, you look fabulous," and don't believe it.
They do not believe it. They are appeasing you. They are pandering to you. You have to be careful with all that stuff. Everybody's offering a free pander to you. Everybody. So you can be confident. You don't have to shout it from the roof. Why got to be you shouting it from the rooftop? Because you still want people to see you. Hey, woo-hoo, I'm here. You still need the acknowledgement. That's the point of it. Now the problem with you know, the whole confidence thing is that you feel that once you get there, everybody else is going to believe it. It's not true. It's not true. And you have to be okay with, once you get there, that nobody will still believe it. Everybody will still think of you the same way. Are you ready for that?
That's going to be a letdown. It's going to be a letdown.
It is going to be a letdown. But that's when you really coming into your own. When you can say, I am who I am, and I don't even need an audience to acknowledge it. I don't need a platform to show it. Because I am that I am when I'm at the grocery store, when I'm inside my house in my bed, when I'm in the bathroom taking a shit, when I'm at church or whatever, when I'm playing with my kids. I am valuable at any point. I don't need to undress for you to be now symbolic of loving who I am.
That's the Jedi mind trick right now with popular culture. That's like, I see every woman. I'm not approved by any means, but I see every woman. Like sometimes on the Facebook feed. I sometimes think Facebook is such trash. Like everybody is like got like full butt cheeks out on Facebook for free. You know, so to me, I say the body positivity context is everything. In a sense of, you know what, I'm not gonna wait to love myself to everything is perfect, right? I'm gonna love on myself now, and I say love yourself to the next level. But then in terms of complacency with ill health, you know, I think that's an issue that's being marketed as I can just dress everything up and totally ignore that my numbers are off the charts. You know, in terms of I'm right now, my cholesterol, I can have a heart attack at any moment, you know, but I look great with a lot of makeup on. I look good from the neck up, the wrist down, the ankle down. You know what I'm saying? But my health, you know, people say black don't crack. Black cracks from the inside when we don't take care of it. It does crack. It actually, you know, does crack. So the body positivity in terms of women, like I'm not going to be ashamed. That's where I think it's positive. But you bring up a good distinction.
I really think that's positive too. The whole that you're asserting your authority over your life and you're acting that out. You know, which that part of it is good. But the problem again that we come to is that when you're asserting that and you're acting that out and people come pandering to you, you believe them. You believe
wide
them.
Open.
And that is where you get fucked up. That is where you get fucked up at. Because you can believe
that's
whatever
super dangerous. That's how we all got. If we really think about it, that's how we all got that right there. I'm always making the distinction, like 16-year-old, what to take home, what you need to know. You cannot go by people's words. I go like this, my ear is closed. You might as well be a Martian. Everybody speaking the same language. I turn on a volume, consistent behavior only. Consistent behavior only. Investment only. That's the only thing that means something, you know, because it's like hypnosis. We go right to sleep. Discernment goes out of the window. Vetting process goes out of the window. We're not willing to have uncomfortable conversations because we want to upset somebody. They might leave. All the vetting goes out of the window. And that's all that's going to keep you safe. The only thing that's going to keep you safe is asking those uncomfortable questions, watching, referencing, cross-referencing, and coming back because you know you don't have the eyes. Get you somebody with some eyes, with some wisdom.
Yeah.
Or
and
run it across somebody.
Another set of eyes is beneficial to everybody. That's how wives contribute and enhance husbands, because she's another set of eyes for him, and he's a grown ass man. So if you're 16 or 17 or 18, don't think you can do this thing on your own. You need a couple set of eyes because you're just not advanced enough. You haven't developed the dark goddess in you yet. You're too optimistic.
Right. And I also want to definitely say this, Salkis, it's not, no offense to anybody, this is not religion. I can, again, as a young woman, say this has nothing to do with going to church and quoting scriptures and Bible verses. Because as I know plenty of girls that 14 that got pregnant in church, all churchgoers, and they got pregnant at 14. So a religious bypass of religion doesn't mean you have common sense or you're able to have uncomfortable conversations or you're able to see gift of gab. I would even say it trains you to not be discerning, right? Because you want to follow all the rules and you don't want to upset anybody or disrespect anybody. When sometimes you need to have a certain conversation, the answer is not correct, move on. The behavior, not meeting certain patterns, it doesn't matter. It does not pass this test. I cannot pass go. I cannot proceed because it's extremely dangerous. My life will be altered. I will most likely come away with an unintended pregnancy of another human life. I will more than likely come away with several diseases. I most likely will come away with emotional and mental damage. So it is too risky. It is too risky. And my life is too valuable to risk. I think young women and women need to be affirmed in that. Yes, it is too risky for me to take that chance. Let me go and run this across some eyes so I can get hip to game, because you will lose. You could lose everything. You will likely lose everything, a good portion of your life.
What I have to say, you know, as a woman to young women is, you know, and I just say it really raw. Men don't really like you. And that's really what they need to hear. They don't really like you. They are there to get some sort of stimulation. They are there to get sexual gratification, and your body is an instrument for that. And any woman's body can be an instrument for what they are trying to get from you. Any woman can give them what you're giving them, and this is what every young girl has to know. She doesn't need to know that she's pretty and all that. You know, that's fine, but that shouldn't be the sum total of a conversation when you're trying to affirm or pour belief into her, is that she's beautiful. But this is what most mothers and most women around other women, that's all they're offering. You're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful. And when she's trying to see if that's really real, she's going to men for that. She's not even believing you. You could tell her that, but she needs to hear it from somebody who's sexually attracted to her. So you got to tell them, no, they don't really want you like that. They want your body. They want your body. Like, tell these girls the fucking truth.
That's what they're craving. They're not craving. There's no respect. There's like, and your life will be ruined. Sorry, like, your life will be ruined, and potentially your future generations. Your life will be ruined. Your life, we want to keep selling a fairy tale. I would even say, and I know I'm not looking to offend anybody, but we keep glorifying single motherhood. Like, it's, I got this. I got this. It's not going to be me. They were struggling, but you're in the fantasy land that I'm not going to struggle. Are you kidding me? If you don't have the money to protect the child, you got to work. So who's going to be protecting this child from being misused, mishandled, abused, the amount of resources if the other parent is not going to be there? There's so much. Somebody I heard say the other day, it's $1 million to raise a child today. $1 million. When I talk about protection and all that child needs, and then in addition to choose another parent wisely, you'll be used. You're correct, because people are just having fun on you. And they're being indiscriminate.
Yema says it's hard to tell a woman she's just a tool. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of women are scared to tell women the truth, because we're more concerned with not hurting people's feelings, because we understand that we're sensitive and all of that. So we'll watch women fall on their face just so she doesn't say, well, you hurt my feelings, instead of telling her, listen, XYZ and ABC ain't
life on the line. Her life is
your life is on the line. Your life is on the line. And I have no problem telling nobody I care about, listen, take it down a notch. Nobody believes you. Take it down a notch. I know you in your head. I know you think, XYZ is all going on. You got it going on. But the probability that other people that you like not believing it is high. So you have to prepare for that. And you have to make decisions based on the probability of this person not really seeing you the same way that you claim to see yourself. And that's really the only way to mitigate loss. That's the only way to send a curveball in odds that are unfair. You really got to get out of your head and your own ego about what you think you're worth, and really listen to what another person's saying to you about themselves and about you. You have to really listen and really observe where they're coming from, because everybody's perspective is going to be different. You know how many attractive women get scammed out here because they just think they're all that, and they assume that everybody else thinks they're all that too. And they're getting scammed left and right out here because of it. Take it off the table. Okay, you all that to you. You're all of that to you, and you should be all of that to you. Now listen to what the other person's saying. Watch what it is they're doing. Watch for the inconsistencies. Watch for the level of motivation they actually have for you. And you might find some discrepancies there. You might find some inconsistencies with your level of self-love and their level of agreement with it. And a lot of times with men, there is a discrepancy there. There is very much so a discrepancy there.
So if there's a discrepancy at 16, should I run?
Yes. Yes, at 16, listen, you can get trash at any point in your life. And at 16, it's all of it's trash. Like,
so
all
I should be a discrepancy. And should I be looking for discrepancies? I asked for my 16-year-old self. Should I be looking for the discrepancies?
I'll tell you what I say to young women is that don't believe anything you hear. Don't believe anything you hear. It's not your job to believe what anyone's telling you. People will put that burden on you to believe what it is they're saying to you.
So negative.
They will shame you and make you feel guilty for not believing what they're telling you. And I would tell mine, like I'll tell your daughters, do not allow anybody to shame you into believing what they're saying. That's how they get in. Well, I complimented you, and you can't take a compliment. I hear that shit all the time. Like, okay, and what, I can't fill up my fridge, my car, my gas in my car, nothing with all that. How's your compliment enhance my life? Like, for real. But they assume that they're charitable. They assume that they're affirming you is charity. This is how people handle us, especially unattractive girls. And let me talk to y'all now, especially us unattractive girls. We have a different set of rules going on here. And we need a heightened level of discernment. Because I've told y'all for years on this channel, the likelihood of you being used is 99.999 to the 9th power of 9%. Have I not said that before? Nobody wants to give you anything that you want. So if you're waiting on virtue, if you're waiting on good character and all that kind of stuff, you have to demand it. You have to create a life and have a personality where another person just has no other choice than to give you what it is you're asking for. You're not waiting for them to be that for you, because nobody wants to be that for you. Nobody wants to be that for someone they feel is beneath them. And if we're going to be honest, a lot of us look like we are beneath other people. So they handle us any kind of fucking way. And you got to check it. And it ain't got to even be an argument. It ain't even got to be an argument. You ain't got to insult nobody. You ain't got to belittle nobody. You ain't got to even intimidate nobody. All you got to do is observe. I'm watching people all the time. I'm listening to what they say, what they do. I'm hearing agendas left and right from people who even claim to support me. And I'm like, okay, chess not checkers, as they say. Let's dance. Okay, you here for something? All right, well, I'm here for something too. You ready to use me? Well, I'm going to use you first. And they don't have to know that. You observe quietly. Everybody don't got to know that you think you're full of yourself. That's not even a tactic of manipulation. The best manipulators are humble. Present humility. They don't intimidate you until they get what they fucking want. So we're assuming that we gotta show up and make everybody feel small and belittle. I'm not doing that. I'm not letting nobody know how I feel about shit. Nothing. You're gonna feel nice and feel like, okay, Salkis is every woman's woman and whatever it is. You're not gonna know that I have any agendas. Because it's a need to know kind of, the only person that need to know about that is me. I want to see what you're here for. I want to see why you are here. What do you want to gain by being with me or being around me? That's what I'm here to find out. I'm not here to make you think that I love myself and all this kind of stuff, because you already have an arrangement in your head of what you think that is anyway. So y'all got to stop thinking you got to fight with you got to fight for a position with everybody. The fight doesn't always have to be obvious. Y'all obviously fighting with people. Listen, I watch everything. I don't miss shit. And for those of y'all on here who think that I do, trust and believe I do not. I do not. It's chess, not checkers with me. My ego is through the motherfucking roof. But you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it if you're talking to me. And you don't need to know. Everything to me is a need to know basis with everybody that I meet. Everybody. So if people are drawing conclusions of me that will cause them to put up blocks and pretend for me, then I haven't done my fucking job. If you're intimidated by me to the point where you're hiding how you really feel, then I'm losing. I'm losing. So a lot of us who are underdogs, it ain't about not playing the underdog. You got to utilize the shit. You got to utilize the shit. I'm not fighting with no fucking body. Nobody.
So, question. You said something that's very key. And again, I always think like if I was 16, because so much stuff went over my head. One, you said humble. Two, you said shame, right? Two.
Yeah.
So I think shame, like, I don't know if perhaps you could break that down for more than somebody that's 16, because like shame might be a subtle concept, right? And then the other thing is humble. That's definitely like I think a good distinction for young women, for women in general, especially young women, because just a distinction that somebody is coming to and they seem very humble, so that women know that, and young women, that they come to you. A predator can come to you very humble, just like somebody that's an older man trying to exploit a little child. But when you're a little older, knowing that they could come to you appearing very humble, very benevolent. Oh, because this is what young girls will tell you. He was so giving. You're wrong. You're wrong. Because they were so giving. They gave me money, gave me this. And you just don't want to see me have fun. You don't want to see me have these earrings. You just want me to be like you. This is what a young girl, you know, will say. So just that distinction, right? I like distinctions make the difference. That the distincts everything that somebody's coming to you humble, like a young person. What does that mean? What does that look like? They're coming to say things that you like, stroke your ego.
What I would say to that is to tell young women that everybody wants something, whether they're using humility, whether they're using bravado, whether they're being kind or insulting. Everybody's in your face for something. So don't assume because they're nice to you that there isn't an agenda going on there. That's what you explain to these girls, that just because the vehicle is humble and he bought you a pair of Reeboks or whatever the fuck it is, you're automatically assuming that he's not there for what he wants out of the deal. Would be a stupid thing to think, because everybody's there for something. Certain people use kindness to get what they want. Certain people use pity to get what they want. Certain people use their own traumas and tragedies to get what they want, and we call them narcissists, right? So it's that thing. It's not always coming up as people are wagging their finger in your face. You better, and making threats to you. The ones who get underneath your skin are the ones who come pretending not to have any agenda at all. They just want you to be happy. They just want me to be happy. Nobody just wants anybody to be happy. They want to be happy. And they want something from you to create happiness for themselves. And your role is to find out what that is, if you're willing to give it, and how much it costs for him to get it. That's all it is. And that's what young girls have to be taught. Ain't nobody just nice to you for no reason. Let's stop that shit. People are selfish by nature. People are for themselves by nature. Even those who are humble and giving are doing it because it makes them feel good, because it strokes their ego. So you find people who are giving to a fault, you think that they don't have any agenda. They have just as much an agenda as anybody else, because they're giving to you so they can feel important. It all goes back to them. And it always goes back to them. Anybody who is in your face wants something from you. Something. And it just does not matter how they're delivering the request. It doesn't matter.
So if they sound like a nice person, if they sound like a bad person, it ends up the same.
That's it. That's it. Trust is supposed to be earned. Trust really.
And then the shame when they're shaming, like, I don't know if a young girl can recognize when somebody's trying to shame her or guilt her. Maybe guilt, but shame her. You know what I'm saying? Into certain decisions. Like, I think that's why it's easy to run game. I think of my 14-year-old friend who came back from Christmas vacation pregnant. And I was like, I was so naive. I was like, I didn't even get it. I was like, who did this to you? And it was an older man on the block. She was 14.
Yeah. This is true. They and I think for young girls, this is why I say on this channel, you see that shit called sarcasm? Do not fuck around with nobody who's sarcastic to you, because that sarcasm is a belittling wrapped around, banter and jokes. It is a belittling. And a lot of times 14-year-old girls, that's what they're experiencing. Oh, I was just playing with you. They hurt your feelings, and after they swing back around, girl, why you so serious? You ain't gotta be so serious. I was just fucking with you.
Correct. I was told I was too serious. I was thinking, but life is serious. I remember thinking, like, get messed up, that's serious. But conscious people like, you're too serious. Somebody just trying to manipulate me. You're too serious. You loosen up. And I was like, you trying to make me let my defenses down? Like, this is a serious matter. Why would I not be serious?
Exactly. So you as a woman, no matter what age you are, if something doesn't feel right to you, it doesn't matter what the other person says their intentions were, what they meant by it, or how they're interpreting what they're telling you. It doesn't even fucking matter how they're defining what they're saying to you. If you are feeling bad in the process of whatever's being said or done to you, then you accept your feelings as fact. Always accept how you feel as the motherfucking fact, because they will always backpedal on you and say, you misinterpreted me. You're making too much. You're overthinking it. You're making too much out of it. It's not that deep. This is what they will backpedal and say to you. So just for GP in general, anytime you're in communication with somebody and there's something hurtful that's being said to you, you take it for that. You take that for face value. You take that and not their explanation of why they said it afterwards. Not their explanation and not their apology neither.
Salkis, you saying the whole word, because I can think in particular how, no offense to anyone, how we're religified out of our common sense. What you just said, like, take that. When you're saying, like, even children can pick up on somebody, I don't want to go to them, and we make them go and kiss that person anyway when a child is not feeling right. You make them go hug and kiss our uncles, this person, or don't be rude, or that's not Christian. Listen, I tell you, my sister from Barbados, right? I remember I'm from New York. She's born in Barbados, and I'm like, nah, I'm not. I'm very careful. I'm not getting into no car with anybody. She said, back home, somebody gonna give you a ride to the sea, and I'm like, yeah, but we in New York. We in New York. The one time I was like, let that get me. The one time I'm just going from the train station to the gym, and I said, it's the ride, the dollar van ride, in I think it was Jamaica, Queens, and you know how they have all those dollar vans to get instead of when the bus is not coming to those remote areas. There was just Caribbean, and what let that get in my head? I let somebody ride me from point A to point B. Salkis, this man, working man, is pulled out his thing. I was so horrified. I was so horrified. I opened up the door and fell out the side.
What?
And started running to one time. I think my sister was ill-meaning, but we was not in Barbados. But the one time I said, so sometimes it's the people closest to you telling you to let down your guard. The one she was like, back home, people don't know how to act here back home. Everybody looking out for each other. And I was like, yeah, but we're in New York. Every time I have not listened to the inner something, like, this don't feel safe to me. And I listen to somebody else. This man whipped out his penis in the car.
How about that? Follow you first.
The one I opened up the side door. There was a car that was high. I opened up the door, basically fell out the side.
Yeah.
Follow
your first mind. Everybody's offering you to let down your guard. That's all people offer you. Rethink things. You take
it for young girls. You don't let down your guard
for nobody.
Past male people do for nobody. Nobody. It's not safe.
In general, anytime anyone suggests that you do that, understand that is a manipulation tactic in itself. Anytime you are doing something to protect yourself and someone tries to talk you out of it, it is a manipulation tactic. It's for them to get something from you that either they don't deserve, or you don't need, or is unsafe for you. That's usually one of those three options there. So red flag it in your mind. You don't even have to tell them, because listen, y'all got to learn that young girls, you need to close your mouth too. You need to learn to talk less and listen more. You don't tell them, oh, I think you're trying to manipulate me. I think you're trying to scam me or do it. She doesn't need to know that you're assessing that. That is something you keep under your hat, as they say. You just make a mental note of it. Okay, this person is trying to make me do something that they know I don't want to do. So obviously there's a respect factor here that's really, really weak. Because if I'm suggesting that I don't think this is safe for me to do, or I'm not comfortable with this thing, or I'm scared, or whatever it is, and they're still insisting that I do it, and they're still insisting that I think a certain way, flag the play. Flag the play. This person does not care. They don't care. In general, you young girls that watch this channel, I say you don't have any friends. I say you do not have any friends. It's usually your friends who manipulate you, who scam you, or who try to destroy your reputation. It's going to be your friends that do that. It's not going to be strangers. It's not going to be people you meet at a party. It's going to be someone you've known since you were 5 years old. That does that.
So that's hard to believe for a young person. That's where they'll say that you're being bitter, or what are you talking about? They don't have a frame of reference.
Live long enough to know. Live long, and I don't have any problem with a young person saying you're bitter for that advice, because I know in a few years she'll understand that what I'm saying is true. I don't have any issue with being consistent, because when I give advice, it's not for a popularity contest. It's not because I want you to like me. When I lay down the law and tell you what I think is wisdom, it's because I care about you. And it has nothing to do with reciprocity or anything of that for me. I'm just saying, on my watch, I don't want to walk away from you telling you something that could relieve your stress or could eliminate something bad happening to you. And I don't say it because I know you're gonna think of me a certain way or whatever. No, I'm beyond all of that. I'm beyond all of that. If you're 16 years old and you come to me with any questions, I'm going to give you the real. Whether it hurts your feelings or not, you're going to walk away well informed. That's what I feel my job is. As a mother.
Salkis, that a lot, I think, in current day, many parents and even community aunties and community mamas, even if you don't have children through your womb, you're a community mama, community auntie. We want to be liked more than to tell the truth. Like, we're even, desperate, and we want to be liked and be popular rather than tell young women the truth, because they're going to be upset. We don't want to, we don't want them to be angry, upset, when meanwhile could save their life.
Listen, I think ain't nothing gonna get you more upset and angry than stepping in a pothole, than stepping in quicksand, than having somebody manipulate you out your drawers and your money. Ain't nothing more hurtful than that. What I'm saying ain't gonna hurt you more than not knowing the information that I'm giving you. That's gonna hurt you. That's my viewpoint on that. Ain't nothing I'm gonna tell you gonna hurt you worse than laying on your back for a motherfucker who don't want you and gives you an Uber ride home and never calls you again. That right here destroys a lot of women. That right there will destroy your whole outlook on your life and what you feel your value is. I'm trying to save you from that. And if you don't take it, oh well, but I gave it. If you don't take it, that's on you. But I did give it. So I did my job. I did my job. I am not for telling women what they fucking want to hear. We hear what we want to hear all the time, and that's why we wind up on our backs for men who don't give a fuck about you. That is how you end up on your back, because you're hearing what the fuck you want to hear instead of the goddamn truth. I can see how that hearing what you want to hear destroys a woman's entire life. I see it all the time, every fucking day. I talk to these women, I coach them. Just whole life in an upheaval. Why? Because you believe something. You believe something and you saw the opposite of that, and you kept believing this something in your head, even though the person was showing you something else.
That's called delusional. That's delusional.
It is delusional. We don't need the sweet nothings anymore. The sun is on our backs now. We don't need the sweet nothings anymore. We don't need to be affirmed by these men, because 9 out of 10 of them, and probably 10 out of 10 of them at this point, don't really give a fuck about you. They don't want to give you what you're asking for. This is why you're trying to do coffee dates or meet in the sandbox on the monkey bars or something like that, because everybody's lowballing you. Everybody's finding an excuse not to give you any joy. Everybody's finding a fucking excuse not to give you any joy. You're not worth anything that you want or need. Where's that? And you're trying to extract fairness out of that mentality? You're trying to extract treat me like a human being out of that mentality? Come on. Where and when?
So you just give me the distinctions here. I'm gonna break it down my 16-year-old self. So the distinction here, there is no fairness. I just want the take homes. I want the take home, because somebody's gonna come across this video. No. There is, because we're raised, it's gonna be fair. You gotta be. There is no fairness. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying there is no fairness, and there is no fairness.
Okay, so that can't be misconstrued.
Because people are selfish. That's why people are selfish.
Not from your parents, not from religious leaders, not from.
Yes, all of them. Everybody wants.
There's nobody. Yeah, pretty, ugly woman, damsel in distress. If I give up the Yanni, what about if I give up the Yanni?
If you give up the Yanni,
I give up the cookies, am I gonna get treated fair, better?
No, mission accomplished and it's over with. It's over with, and they usually, huh?
If I give up the yanni, I'm gonna get treated like crap.
Absolutely, because they don't like you in the first place. No matter what they say, they can like the way you look, but they don't like you. They can like the way you look because they want to have sex with you. What does that have to do with you, though? What does that have to do with actually you and your intrinsic value?
As a young woman, and I'm pretty and I'm fresh, I'm a maiden. I'm younger than you. I'm not older. I'm not bitter. At 16, somebody is going to sleep with me, and that's not a determinant that they like me, even if they gave me some earrings or some sneakers. That's not a determinant that they like me, respect me, will invest me, marry me. And what about if I have a baby?
If you have a baby, it's even worse. Now you're a statistic. Now you're a bill. You have a baby with him, you become a bill. A bill, and he may come to you occasionally for sex, because it's convenient. You're there, and you're at this point. If you have a baby, you're desperate, so you're gonna be opening your knees for more validation, more attention. The feeling of affection, love.
Wow. So I'm young and pretty. That's not gonna get me treated better.
No, you're going to get exploited, just like most young pretty women get exploited. And most older pretty women are getting exploited.
The ugly girl.
You're not treated any better because a man wants to fuck you. You're not getting treated any better because a man wants to fuck you and lay you on your back.
Better than the ugly girl. I thought I look better than the ugly girls.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Hold on, my weave, her hair is busted, and she can't afford to get her hair done to get a Dominican blowout. She can't afford the Remy weave, so I look better. So I know I'm getting treated better.
You will get fucked more. You won't get treated better. That's an assumption. And once you give up your cookies, your bargaining chip has been given up too. Your value and your worth has also been given up too. There's no reason for him to stay. There's no reason for him to perform for you. There's no reason for him to answer your call anymore after you laid on your back. He's gotten the ultimate thing that you have to offer, which is what's between your legs.
Now you're breaking my young heart down. I just want you to know you're breaking my heart down. You hurting my feelings right now. You just told me they're gonna screw me. They're gonna F me more, but not like me. How does that? This is bad. This is you hurting my feelings.
Don't you hear men say that sex and love are two different things? Men will tell you this. You go to any of these manosphere channels that you go through, they tell you this. Love and sex are two different things. So a man being sexually attracted to you does not mean that he cares about you. It does not mean that he's willing to sacrifice for you. If he's giving you a little toy, I don't know what jewelry, sneakers, or whatever it is, it doesn't. That's not symbolic of care.
Let me get this
straight. That's generosity, but it's not care.
But it doesn't mean he cares. If a man has sex with me, it doesn't mean he cares about me.
No, it doesn't.
Are you sure?
I'm absolutely sure. One has nothing to do with the other. Sacrifice is the only measure of concern. Sacrifice is the only fucking measure of concern. And if he bought you a necklace that he didn't sacrifice to get, it's not a measure of concern. It's just not. That is the only measure of concern. And men understand this because they want a ride or die chick. They want a chick who can endure suffering so she can earn his best. Isn't that what they say? Isn't that what they say?
All right.
So they understand that inconvenience is the measure of care.
This is hard to swallow, and I'm only 16, so I got a question for you, Auntie Salkis. What does that mean, sacrifice? Could you give me some examples of what sacrifice looks like?
Sacrifice is fucking marriage. How about that? Let's start with that. Being a girlfriend is a motherfucking scam. Let's start right there. Why is being a girlfriend a scam? Because you're just a placeholder. You're a blow-up doll who has to eat and shit every day. That's all you are. You are an instrument of pleasure. That is all you are. An instrument of convenient pleasure at that. Because there's no risk. There's no risk in having you in somebody's life if you're only there as a girlfriend.
But I have more freedom. Freedom if I don't get married.
Say that again.
But don't I have more freedom if I don't get married?
You have more freedom when you close your fucking legs. The moment you open your legs, you are no longer free. The moment you open your legs, you risk dying. Your whole life changes. Your whole psyche goes into a fucking upheaval when you open your legs. So there is no freedom when you on your back for any motherfucking man. Not one. Not one. That's a lie too. You risk your whole life and livelihood every time you get on your knees and get on your back for a dude. There's no freedom in that.
Auntie,
There's no freedom associated with sex.
Auntie, this is making me sad. This is making me sad.
None.
This is making me sad. This
None.
is making me sad. This is making me upset.
None. There is no freedom associated with having sex with a man. None. None. Get that out of your head. Get that out of your head.
Salkis, this is sad. This is upsetting me. This is upsetting me. You're upsetting me.
It's no more. It's not going to be as upsetting as it would be if you got pregnant for someone who wasn't there to support you. If you spent 10 years, the next 10 or 15 or 20 years of your life with a man, only to find out that he never liked you, that you were just a placeholder, that he had another relationship across town with some woman that you didn't know about the whole time. What I'm saying ain't gonna hurt you more than that. What I'm saying is not gonna hurt you more than having the revelation that you could have been with somebody else, but because this dude said you were cute and he liked the size of your ass and he liked the way you suck dick, somehow you thought he loved you when the whole while it was just sexual gratification and it was a fucking game. You were a game. You were the one that he called when nobody else answered their fucking phone for 5 years straight. That would hurt more to know than what it is I'm telling you to prepare you for right now. What I'm saying doesn't hurt you. Truth is not hurtful. Truth is medicine. Truth is medicine. It's not pain. So what are we going to do? If you're telling me that you rather be ignorant, that you rather not know and just pretend like everything's okay, I understand. I can wrap my head around that. But you need to say that. You need to say, you know what? I'd rather pretend that he likes me. You need to admit that. Don't shuck and jive and don't dance around that. Admit that I'd rather live in pretense than know the actual truth. Always be honest with yourself. That's how we curtail some of this bullshit out here. Always be honest with yourself. Admit to yourself why you're doing these things. Admit to yourself why you're on your back for a man you know doesn't care about you. Say in the mirror, you know what? I'm pretending in this relationship here because I'm lonely. Because there's nothing else, nobody else is checking for me. So I'm deciding to pretend to be in a relationship with this man. Say it to yourself. Say it to yourself. You have to face why you're doing the shit that you're doing so that you can course correct you. If you lie to you, you'll never know the truth of what anybody else is saying to you. You'll never recognize what people truly feel if you constantly lie to yourself. You have to admit it. You have to admit it. I'm only here because I ain't got no other choice. Maybe some of us got to say that. I'm only here because I have assumed the position of a woman who has no other recourse. That's the only reason why I'm here. And give yourself some relief that you were honest with yourself about that. And when you face the truth of what is motivating you to be in these relationships with people who don't care, then maybe you'll be in a place to start shifting and changing it around. But if you don't face why you're actually there, you're going to assume you're going to make up some other shit that's a fucking lie. Well, I'm here because, we're doing this thing because, eventually he'll come around. He's just scared of a relationship right now. And, he has to mature a little bit and I'm helping him grow. We're growing together. And, that's my role in his life to help him become a man. You'll be saying bullshit like that instead of saying, well,
okay. Question. How about this? How about, okay, if the black guys are going to treat me bad, I heard that, that the Chinese guys are checking for me and that the white guys is checking for me. How about that? That's a better route.
Men are men are men.
No difference.
There's no difference in race, let's say. when in terms of your vulnerability, in terms of you deciding to hold out for the best viable option for you. Men are men are men. They're looking for the lowest price. Whether they're Chinese, black, white, purple, yellow, maybe white guys are a little bit kinder to you because you're more of a novelty to them. Maybe that's why. Your dark skin against the light, the contrast. You're sort of a fetish, so he's a little more appreciative because you're a bit of a novelty. But it doesn't mean he cares anymore. It doesn't mean that he deserves your assumption that there isn't any foul play there. It doesn't mean that. You need to assume that everybody that comes in your motherfucking face wants something. Have I not said that? That doesn't change for a white man. That doesn't change for somebody Chinese. That doesn't change for somebody who's a fucking nerd. It doesn't change for a man with money. It doesn't change for
the nerds too.
The nerds too. Do not think for a second they're not nerds out here manipulating and scamming women too. Look at Bill Gates. Don't assume for a second that somebody who shows you that they're insecure doesn't have an alter agenda too. There's insecure people scamming people all day long. Hello? There's insecure people taking advantage of people all day long. We call them narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, personality disorders, all kind of shit, all kind of convoluted ass names for them. But we assume that somebody only the confident people are scamming people out here. It's the ones who hate themselves. Got a bone to pick with you. The ones who hate who they are, the ones who got a bone to pick with you. So you
I didn't do anything.
Everybody.
But I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. What did I do to deserve this? I'm out here just, I don't bother nobody. I just listen, Auntie Salkis. Does this mean that I will never get married or that I should give up? Getting married? Do I need to get a blow up? What does this mean? Does this mean that I can't have a relationship?
This means that you are starting to understand human nature, and you are prepared for it because you're understanding yourself too. You understand that you get into a relationship with somebody so that they can provide something for you. So essentially, you're in it for what's in it for you. So you assume that everybody's in your face for what's in it for them also. That's all. Everything that you're expecting, assume that other people are expecting things too. That's it. This unconditional love thing. You're not in a relationship with that.
In a relationship, I'm in a relationship with that sounds cold.
So then you would rather be in a relationship for love, right? You want love. You don't want anything.
Scriptures say that's what the Bible says. The Bible says, doesn't the Bible say that?
So you want to be in a relationship for love, right?
Yes. Yes.
So you want to receive love, right?
Yes.
So in the love, the person has to act a certain way, give you certain things, give you the attention, the concern, whatever it is, so that you can interpret what they're saying to you as love, or what they're doing for you as love. So it goes back to a thing anyway. It goes back to the material anyway. Even with love. Well, I don't want anything from him but his time. Okay, so he gives you his time. He's not sitting there with his legs crossed. Giving you time means what? Is he rubbing your feet? Is he cooking you dinner? Is he at home in bed with you? Is he watching the kids? Are y'all reading together? What is it? So that goes back to material too. So the assumption that love is somehow higher than you getting your bills paid is foolish talk, because it's a thing. It's a material. Anything someone has to do physically to show you that they love him is material. It's material, just like somebody paying a fucking bill. One is not higher than the other. And we got to get the spiritual thing in correct, because spirituality doesn't mean nothing if you're not alive. What makes spirituality a thing if you're not alive to assume and display the spirituality that you say you have? You need your physical vehicle to show love. You need to do something physical to show somebody that you love them. So it's all material, all of it. So when these men tell you don't go for money, you know, love is more important than that, then how do you show me that you love me? Talk to me about how you're going to show me that you love me. Because even if you just say it, your larynx needs to, there's a vibration that has to go on in your throat to utter out the words. Your tongue needs to move and your larynx needs to vibrate. The words are sound. Words are sound, and it's also material. Even if I just say it to you, that is material, because I got to say it and you got to hear it for me to acknowledge that I said it. So my eardrums got to work, and so does your larynx. So we're going back to the physical again.
So
you're never not going to be physical when you are physical.
I can say that. I can say, show me you love me to a man. Is that ladylike?
Is it ladylike? Why wouldn't it be ladylike to require someone to show it to you? Don't you show people that you love them?
Gold digger? But isn't that being a gold digger?
Asking a man to show you that he loves you is a gold digger? Being a gold digger? And let me ask you this. What do you know about being a gold digger? And why do you associate gold digging with something not to be? Why?
Because that's on all the music videos. You know, the guys talk about at the barbershop. They always talk about a gold digger. You know.
So a gold digger is a woman who gets taken care of, right?
Well, she's always looking. A gold digger, somebody's asking for what the man got, what he worked hard for.
So a woman is not entitled to ask a man for resources who claims to like her and want to be with her. Something's wrong with her asking a man that wants to be with her for things to take care of her. Something's wrong with that.
If they're married, that's okay.
Okay. So if they're married, it's okay for her to make a request. But if you're a girlfriend or just an associate or whatever, it's not.
Right, because he worked for that. He worked for his money.
Okay, and my body is my body, but he wants that too, and he wants that for free. So there's nothing wrong there. He works for his money, but he can't create another me. I can't even create another me. So what's worth more? What's worth more? Because the money that he gives you, he can work a double shift and get that back. His money is replenishable. I'm depreciating in value every day. And I can't recreate myself, and neither can he if he destroys what I have. So which is more valuable? His money is never going to be as valuable as your body. Never. Never. So when they talk that shit, understand that if you can't go to Piggly Wiggly and buy another vagina in a fucking pickle jar, then understand that what you're holding on to is priceless and it can't be duplicated. We are not the same. Your money and what I have are not the same. They will never be. They will never be. You cannot compare. What you can't replace, you can't compare what the fuck you can't replace. Hello?
You can't replace.
You can't compare what you cannot replace. I said that. And that is what you have to be telling your fucking daughters when they're listening to these men talk about what they're not deserving of. You can't tell me what I'm not deserving of, and this thing that I have is an equal exchange to what you're giving me when I cannot replace this, and neither can you. You can't make another me. So don't talk to me about there's never an even exchange between a man and a woman. Tell your daughters that. There is never an even exchange. She's always going to have more to lose. Always. This is what these girls and women have to know. This is what they have to know. Eugene.
Excuse me. Some people saying some stuff in the comment. I just want folks to know I'm asking these questions. I'm not 16, 17. I'm asking these questions because I know what it's like to be 16, 17, 18, 20, and I didn't get it.
We're role playing here. We're role playing.
Actually, it's quite triggering, but I think this could save lives. So I'm asking every question that would have come up to me with my little confused self at 16, 17, 20. So there's a reason why I'm asking these questions, because
Yes.
it is actually triggering because I remember what it was like. I didn't know. I didn't understand. Even the women that were older than me were making decisions that of like a foolish 16-year-old, the older women. So where was I supposed to go to the church to say, there was no place to really go for clarity and guidance, for how to preserve myself. That wasn't even on my radar. That was not even on my radar. And I wasn't a dummy, but just being green is like costing us our whole life and being naive.
Yeah, it is costing us. So y'all, it's not that she's body color is not ignorant by any means. She's asking the questions on behalf of people who would be looking at this, because these are questions that will come up for young and honestly, even as like cringy as it is, older women too. Because a lot of women have no idea.
We're underdeveloped. We never got it. If you never got it, you never got it.
Yeah.
Nobody ever showed you. You never got it. You never got it.
Yeah. And that's just what it is. So we wanted to go through that with you, and I think it was perfect. I appreciate you, Body Culinary, for doing that with me, so that other women can see how to respond and how to really think about these things that we're constantly being bombarded with and indoctrinated with as to what we deserve, how we're supposed to view value and relationships and all and men's money and all that kind of stuff. We needed to hash this thing out so they can understand this. It is all theater at the end of the day. Everybody they have a concerted effort to make you doubt who you are, what you are.
Is in current times on social media, there's actually trainings and I guess they call it the manosphere, whatever. But there are folks that have whole courses in teaching young men how to gain women. And not only does it do us a disservice, it doesn't serve us, it doesn't serve them either. So many of us are being misled for profit and for numbers. So I'm asking these questions. I like to be young and to be naive and green, and that could cost you everything. It will cost you everything. You can't suck that child back up into your yanni. There's not that much herbs and yanni steaming to make all of these diseases, right? Go away. There's not that much yanni steaming. You are at risk. You're risking your whole life, and I'm not a prude. I don't hate men. I love men, but it's just not. That can't be a reason to not have these conversations. And many of us with the group thing, men are not having these conversations. Adults, because everybody's busy slapping five with their homies, and we're dying as a result of it.
We are.
We're dying.
We most definitely are. So with that, we're gonna bring this thing to a close. And I like the way it shifted into this, because I think this dialogue was so pertinent and necessary. And my hope and my goal is that I would like for all of you to join UGC. I would like all of you to join the Patreon and become members, so that you can get the tools and the keys to the emotional, mental level up that we need, especially as unattractive women, based on what society says we are. There's just a different walk for us. There's a different walk for us, and I'm trying fervently to get us to understand that it's not about what people think. And we're calling ourselves the Ugly Girls Club so that we can X out everybody's assumption that they have power and control over what we are.
It's a vaccine. I would say it's a vaccine.
It is.
And even like I remember being very uncomfortable, ugly.
Yeah.
And it kind of gave me chills, and it was very unsettling to call myself ugly. However, what I could recognize is how Shirley Chisholm was treated, how Harriet was treated, how Halle Berry was treated. Like I can recognize how as beautiful and pretty and innocent as you are, the world, religiously, all kind of people in positions of authority will treat you very ugly, and the outcome will be very ugly. So us getting clear, I will have a ripple effect throughout our culture, right, and throughout the collective. Us getting really, really crystal clear. And it's a process. I would recommend women out there to, get the young women around you, gift them with that instead of giving a whole bunch of stuff that's going to go in the garbage. Treat some of you. We want to go to finishing school, charm skirt with the fork, but this right here, the clarity. This is, to me, is birth control. This is Planned Parenting. Clarity. Yeah. No, this is some real Planned Parenting to get to the root. So we don't have to have people giving us all kind of chemicals to jack up our womb. The clarity is more than worth its weight in gold, and having these respectful yet uncomfortable conversations. Some of us don't have present mamas and aunties. If you don't have children, or I say this to my homies that don't have children, you are a community auntie and a mama, because somebody had to be an auntie and a mama to you. Yeah. You are a community mama and auntie. That's the only way this is going to change, because the government, nobody has a vested interest in us getting clear. Nobody has a vested interest in us getting clear.
Yeah.
I got chills.
So you have to, the whole thing is chilling. Y'all have to ride for yourselves. You really have to be your own cheerleader. And you have to do it in the dark. A lot of women that are doing this, I love myself thing, need your participation in it. And that's not really it. You have to do it when you're alone. You have to feel your worth when there is no audience around, when there's nothing to gain.
When
Instagram. All of that, all of that. Understand that everything you're seeing out here is a show. Even the body positive stuff, all of it is a show. Everybody's still wanting to be acknowledged. They're just wearing another suit. It's just wearing another suit. It's about the cold, hard truth that we have to face in ourselves that really inoculates us and helps us deal with the world and people who have their opinions about our value, because those are going to be forever. I never thought that people would be saying things about the way that I look at my age now. When I was 16, I thought, well, okay, when I'm grown, all of this will end. It doesn't end. It doesn't end. And the more and more independent you become, the more and more people will criticize you. The more and more critical people will become of you when they see you have an independent mind. They're going to turn up the heat on you, because you're now going to be symbolic of somebody that they can't use anymore. And they're gonna feel badly about it. Like, you're not giving me my supply of relevance. You actually think you're as good as me. So how am I going to affirm myself if I can't do it on your back? How do I get to affirm myself if you're not allowing me to affirm myself through you showing me that you want to be like me? Talk to me. This is why they're going to be mad at you. When you step off and step away from all that shit, this is why they're going to be, girl, I don't know why you do that, because I think you're this and I think you're that. And they'll try to reel you back in. They'll try to reel you back in through making themselves relevant in your life again. They're going to tussle with you. And you have to be
compliments, with insults and compliments.
Hello, it's a package deal. It's a package deal. So that's what we're talking about here. And that's why UGC is so important. That's why it's so important. People out here saying that I'm biting people's stuff. Who? Where? There is nobody like me. Nobody. I don't give a fuck who it is. And that's not a toot on horn or anything like that, because I'm coming from a place of, listen, I'm trying to save people here. I'm really trying to save people here. I'm not in competition with nobody. Nobody here is in competition with anybody else. You have to create your own lane as an unattractive girl. Haven't I told y'all that so many times before? You competing with people, they're going to use you as a footstool. That's all they're going to do. You have to create your own lane for yourself, because you're on the outside looking in. They've showed you that. They're not inviting you in. So now is your opportunity to create a village for yourself that you're the queen of. And that's just what it is. That's the bottom line with this thing. So with all of that being said, I invite y'all all whoever's not a Patreon member, you need to come on over to Patreon because videos are there, content is there that I'm not sharing anywhere else. So it's worth its weight in gold. It's a great space, great energy. You can ask questions to me privately, instant message me, and I'll message you back. And from there, once you step up from there, you decide, okay, I want to go further. Come over to the group coaching because this is where we get down and dirty and real gully with it. Come on over there, and you can sign up for that on the uglygirlsclub.com is our official business card, let's say, our official website.
And also little handbooks are great for young women's esteem to like gift your daughters to like they're little small, they're inexpensive. Like invest in these little books for your daughter, maybe read them with your daughters or groups of girls or women around you. Also something I found very inspirational for those that are not familiar with Salkis's work. She paints all of these magnificent little Black girls, and I guarantee if you look through her art, you're gonna find yourself. I found like several girls like, oh my gosh, that's me. And it just really, oh my God, to me, it's really like spiritual in the most practical sense because you get to see your innocence.
Yeah,
you get to see your innocence untampered with, and it's actually very healing, right? For us to have our personal rituals, but we write the narrative. We're writing the narrative and setting the standard. So please look at it. I used to like sometimes download pictures of the little girls, and print them out and put them around at little places on the mirror in different places, just so I could, because I was like, I'm seeing myself. So get a book or something for all little girls around. We're talking about Planned Parenthood. Okay, we should be clear now. 2020, the lesson has been, as long as y'all sit here waiting for folks that don't have your best interest to look out for you, spiritually, you're damn dumb, and you're gonna get what you get. That's the lesson. If you keep asking folks that have demonstrated to you, whether it's a country, people, individuals, keep asking them to validate you and to treat you right, and you're going to get more. You're going to get more of a behind whooping.
Yeah.
So treat girls around. This is birth control. This is Planned Parenthood. Is real esteem, not some fake esteem just because we have some what we look like superficially.
Yeah. So with that being said, Body Culinary, thank you for coming on. We thank Goddess Athena for coming on as well. Say your channel again one more time before we go. For those of you who want
to Body Culinary.
Body Culinary has a YouTube page too. So if you want to, get nourished spiritually and know what foods to eat and all that stuff to preserve your body and all that, she is the person to go to for that. So make sure you support her.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do another one, Salkis, on internal hygiene. How it's not just all these powders and Ginate and bath splashes. It's what you eat is hygiene. That's for the next chapter.
Yeah, that part. You're right. It's a lot to do. It's a lot to do. So once we sign off here, y'all, those of you who are not Patreon members, go on over to Patreon and sign up today. Do not miss another day. And Body, appreciate you, and I'll see you in the catacombs. Peace and love, everybody. Okay. Peace and love.